Someone's got that sound again. That.
Does it stop when I mute?
Let me see if it's John. One sec. Could be me. Not John.
The only I have a.
It's you, Morgan.
Dang it, Morgan.
I have a fan that's kind of far away. I was hoping it wasn't me.
Yeah, I don't think it's you.
Once I muted Morgan, it went away. Maybe you guys didn't hear it, but I did. I just heard this repetitive.
I didn't hear anything.
Like it was an ultrasound or some shit in the womb.
I feel so
Just
too.
what it sounds like, yes.
Been there, done that.
Yep, I've done it 3 times.
Good, we're already live. Hello.
Hello, here we are. We're talking about ultrasounds and Planescape.
Hi, world.
I don't hear that.
No, it's just him. He's got that Super Vista machine. It picks up everything.
Oh, true, yeah.
You guys are welcome to buy me a new operating system anytime you want.
Brother, if I could help you out, I would. I used to be able to get copies of Windows, but I can't.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't done it.
When I find my millionaire and actually marry him, I'll get you a new computer. What about that?
Nice.
Sounds good. We'll gladly accept. All of Morgan's viewers is subscription based. Certainly there's someone out there who can hook a brother up.
There we go. All right. How about
You know
now?
any lonely millionaires out there?
Much better, buddy. I don't hear the whooshy sound anymore.
Yeah, I bet it's just my computer fan because I reorganized my desk a bit and I moved my mic over by my computer tower and there's a fan on there. So, but cool. All right. Let's see. It looks like Hangouts is working good. So I just got a new internet service too, and it's been working spectacular. Hopefully, all's good.
Sweet.
Let's see. I gotta turn you up just a little bit, John. You're quiet, but I can do that on my end. Ooh, should be good. Say hello, John.
Hello, everyone.
Ooh, perfect. All right. I'll do a quick recap through here. If you have any questions, Troy, just let me know. Anybody else wants to chime in with any bits, feel free. Your character did just kind of hang out with them the whole time. There was no reason for Vendrick to go do anything else, really, considering the situation. So let's see. You guys started out in the hallway in the alleyway there where Jason's office was before making your way to the Dirk Firkin. He passed through the doorway there where there was a large 4-armed brute guy who was a bouncer. His name was Zephin. He told you guys you had to behave and so on and so forth. Caruth One Paw, he jumped up onto the counter, disrupting a bit of the patrons, and looked like he was going to talk to the bartender lady, but he got snatched up by Skaska, who is the owner of this place, like a bird man. I think Zan, I believe you mentioned that's who it was.
Mm-hmm.
He's the owner of the establishment, and the Birdman told you guys he would only be a moment with Caruth because I believe it was Zephyr that wanted to talk to him. But let's see. Habriel came over. He is another Boreer that Zan knew. Had a little bit of a chat, decided to play Catch the Opossum with Zephyr. The two of you went in search of the creature. Abriel found it, per se, first, but you were able to capture it before he was able to get a hold of it. So you technically won the game, and the bet was if you won, you were able to, he would give you access to his library and give you some information and help you out in whatever way you were kind of looking for and whatnot. Caruth returned, having finished his meeting with Kiska. Let's see. That was when Zephyr, you used the rice wafer of remembrance on him and spoke with him. Let's see. What did you ask? Caruth, you learned that he was a former accountant and data analyst named Jason. He handled accounts for many people. Most importantly, it was the Athar, but he also had a couple other the factions that he handled books for, as well as businesses and such forth. He stated he had plans to leave his office for research after finding something important, a potential breakthrough for the faction of the Athar. He planned to go and confirm it. From there, he never returned. He also kept all of his info in an intelligent book, he learned, that kept everything encrypted. and only he or a person named Hiran, a Countess Plethris of Automata, could decipher the notes within. Side note here, let's see, Vendrick was present for this, but I didn't have you say anything about the book or any potential connections. I figured I'd leave that completely up to you and what you wanted to reveal. The book's not familiar with the book. Let's see. Zephyr, okay, you guys heard like a break or a fight break out in the alleyway beside the Dirk and Firkin. You seen Zephyrin pass what looked to be a wounded, smaller girl through the window and placed her inside before he ran off to deal with whatever was going on out there. As you passed the girl, Zephyr, you were headed out the back door along with Seda and Zahn, but as you passed by, you saw that it was Jessamine, one of your factotums from the Great Foundry. Once outside, you guys fought a couple of these lizard creatures that were in turn called Costa. We made pretty quick work of those. Zephyr ended up crushing the last one, smashing it against the wall before Zephyr could talk to it or interrogate it, or whatever the case is. Let's see. You talked to Jessamine, and she looked like something was wrong. You learned that she was a fawn for one once her hood came back, but she was just completely devoid of all beauty. Looked very homely and plain. It was really, she just looked out of sorts almost. She says that the creatures ambushed her and stole her beauty with some sort of magical cane or walking stick of some sort. Another girl came in afterwards. Her name was Jana. She mentioned that the same thing happened to her, and she was hunting these creatures, trying to figure out what happened to them and trying to get her beauty back. One of you, I don't remember offhand, did find the small vial, though, that held the beauty within it that was stolen from Jessamine. Jana wanted it, and then she mentioned that you could give it to Jessamine instead to help her. And Zephyr, when you handed it to go give it to Jessamine, and Black Arrow came through the back of the building through Jessamine's neck, almost killing her instantly. But when she did, and she reached out for that vial, it fell, smashing on the floor and covering Zephyr's foot wraps in absolute beauty. Zahn became enamored with your foot, along with many other people, and a riot started to have those foot wrappings. Everybody wanted them. Let's see, before the total riot broke out over your sexy foot, you guys took off out of that building, grabbing Jessamine and trying to head back to the Great Foundry. Initially, even as you were passing through some of the street and stuff, more and more people started noticing the attention. You caught the attention of a beholder. All 8 eyes kind of swiveled around to watch on you. Let's see. More people noticed. You guys got to the foundry after a brief situation between Keldar and Zan. The both of them were fighting over your foot and over the foot wrap. Zephyr ultimately took it and wore it as a belt for a little while and thought he looked quite beautiful. You grabbed that and ended up burning it in the brazier. You ended up talking to the factum of, or the factor, whatever it is, to the Great Foundry, the head leader guy, and mentioning kind of what was going on, Zephyr, and letting him know what happened to Jessamine. Though he didn't, he obviously cared and was upset by the situation, but he felt this was part of what was going on, was considered part of your test, since you were the one directly involved in this, that it was your task to handle. Outside of how this is going to impact the faction and how they're going to deal with the other factions, namely the Dustman, considering that's what he thought this Black Arrow was from, is to be seen. He didn't take it lightly by any means, but felt this was, kind of in line with your test, so it's sort of on your shoulders. And that's when you ended up burning the foot wrappings. You took Jessamine down to the forge, burnt her ashes, and we basically ended it there. But as you were walking away, you heard those chimes in your pack again. You noticed that little number counter that you have went up to, I believe it was 6. And everybody else was waiting for you outside of the Great Foundry, deciding where to go. Zahn, you mentioned going to speak with your father. Excuse me. But other than that, you guys were just waiting for Zephyr to show back up and figure out what to go from there.
I have a question.
Certainly.
Am I still in possession of that arrow? Was I allowed to hang on to that for after what's his name? After Keldor identified it as like a Dustman thing, did he keep it, or?
No, he wouldn't have kept it, and the Factum wouldn't have kept it either, concerning it was part of your test. So yes, you would still have it.
Okay.
It doesn't come. I mean, I know you don't really have any magical things, but even if you would have asked them, it's not magical by any means. It's basically, but it
No,
is.
I wanted more because it's like a piece of evidence for
Yes.
the case.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else anybody wants to add? Any questions?
I'm good.
All right.
I want to show everybody the that watch as I exit the forge.
All right. So, yeah, as I said, Zephyr, as you're walking away, you can hear these chimes, sort of bell or chime in your pack, and you notice that counter has went up to number 6. Outside, Seda, Tiva, Zan, and Vendrick, all of you are waiting for Zephyr to come back out of the Great Foundry, and you all mentioned that you're just sort of waiting for him outside. All of you will look around. The street's still pretty full with people. It's another average day here in Sigil. Well, nothing really besides these strange encounters that you've had. Everybody still goes on about their business. But Zan, you'll notice at first as you sort of look around, getting ready to, I believe you're going to go speak with your father. You look over to the side and you'll see 2 Modrons moving down the street, perfect unison with one another, marching side by side. Just small, circular, round ones, just a single eye and a large mouth. And as they almost come up maybe 10, 15 feet away from you, they just fall to the ground and lay there completely motionless. Vendrick off to the side, you'll see a duplicate, one of the square ones over in the corner, and he falls to the ground. Boom. And none of them are moving. You'll see a third and a fourth. Seems like there's more Modrons than you would expect out and about here, but all of them just completely drop to the ground unmoving. Nobody really pays too much attention to the things because they're kind of odd and march in their own little lifestyle, but it does seem a bit weird. They just lay there completely motionless.
This is a weird day.
Indeed, son. I have a question for you with your tours and guides. Do you ever leave the city? Or are you restricted to the cage itself?
You actually see him blushing a little bit. And he says, well, usually I stay in the confines of the cage.
But have you traveled elsewhere, son?
Well, not exactly, but no.
You see those odd little creatures over there, the squares and spheres and such? Moldreds, they're called.
Yeah, I know.
I need a guide to take me to where they're from.
I'll look at Zephyr.
If you're not up to the task, son, maybe I should speak to your father. You're going to see him, aren't you? Maybe he can provide assistance.
And he's getting a little bit agitated, looking between Zephyr and Vendrick, and actually having gotten that deal with the other barrier just minutes before or half an hour before. Well, I'm sure we can squeeze all of that in. I'm sure we can. First, I have to talk to Dad. We're having a little bit of a time problem here, I think. Where is the court? And I look around.
Well, speaking of time, Zan, Vendrick, and Sada, everyone, can I draw your attention to this interesting little pocket watch I have here? Maybe you all can make some sense of it.
Sure.
And I pull up this.
I'm a bit of a blood. Let me see what you have there.
Yeah, it looks like a little pocket watch. And does it actually tell time too?
Nope, just a number, just a rotating number.
Because it only appears to be in the shape of a pocket watch.
Well, it's broken.
Well, it's keeping track of not time, but well, when our halfling and dwarf friend had that run-in at the tavern, and that being was killed, this change, the number on this changed.
Did it escalate? Did the number grow?
it went up by 1. And right when I finished commending the body of my factor there to the ash, to the forge, the number went up again.
Interesting. So, they claim the creature they saw that died, there was an idea that was a god. Surely your factor is not a god.
I didn't think so.
I do not believe in gods. I just believe in creatures of power, powerful creatures. You aspire to be such a thing, do you not, Zephyr?
To me, the terminology is the difference is semantic. I do aspire to power.
Very well.
Perhaps a higher form.
We are of the same mind in this, then, which surprises me. But our factions have known to work together before. You seem like a trustworthy young Burke.
Thank you.
I smirk a little as I say that. As long as we're showing each other things that we found on this day, and you found out this knowledge for me by using your precious wafer, I think I'll share this with you. And he reaches into his brown weathered satchel and pulls out this book. I believe you have knowledge of this.
We're all together, right?
I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah, standing in the courtyard of the forge. I would think.
Okay, well, out of curiosity, Tiva's going to ask, do you mind if I ask, what exactly is a Burke?
It's just someone that lives here that might not know everything about everything, dear. You are definitely a Burke.
I snicker.
But don't worry, we are surrounded by them. Someday you can aspire to be more.
We're all Burks.
We're not.
Some are Burkier than others.
I myself have resided here for 150 years, and I know just a fraction of the inner workings of this place.
I give you a good look.
Right.
So, not necessarily a
bad
thing, as they say in unison.
No, it's not. It's not a designation. It's not a low designation. Just yeah.
If I was to call you a bubber, dwarf, that also might be accurate, but I fear I do not know you well enough. We didn't spend enough time in the drinking establishment. But your story with your visit to the last drinking establishment has made you a friend of mine. And a friend of my faction, which is no small thing. As I was saying to you, Zephyr, and to you, Zon, I am leaving this place. This book has told me that it should return to the one that can read it, being that Jason no longer exists. As you can imagine, being that Jason was an accountant for my faction, I too would like to acquire this information. So I will be going to Automata. Zon, I have never been outside of the cage to the Outlands. I would hire you if you would take on the task to see me through this. You, Halfling and Dwarf, are more than welcome to come along for the adventure.
Finally, someone who is willing to pay. With a side glance to the cat.
Well,
So the cat was Jason, correct? That's
Yes.
my understanding.
Carruth Jason.
But he doesn't have any memory of that life.
No, he does not. He's not with you at the moment either, actually.
Oh, okay, very good.
Back at the
Oh, I look for it.
still.
Oh, we left him there, right?
Yeah.
So what say you, Zephyr? Does our paths continue? Are we in
I believe,
unison?
I believe they do. I think we have just a few matters in the cage to tie up, and then do you have means to do you have knowledge of a portal to get to Automata?
I believe I have the information, or I have an inkling of the information. I too may need a few moments to gather my thoughts.
Okay. So
All the
I
while
propose.
I'm reaching out to Book, like telepathically, to see if he can. Because was it known to me through Book that he wanted me to go to Jason's office, correct?
Correct. Yep. He mentioned that there is a portal there that you could use that would take you
Right.
to the outskirts of Automata.
Very good. I'm not giving that information up just yet. I'm just holding it.
You need the. He'll tell you anyway. You need the hair of a warrior tail to enter the portal. Just a good snip.
Seda immediately looks over toward Zell and starts leaning back to look at his butt.
Yeah, I don't see that. You're lucky.
I'm assuming Book said that to me telepathically.
Yes, he does. You guys
sorry.
Oh,
we don't need the dwarf and
the dwarf just checking out your ass in general.
Never mind. I thought that was spoken well.
Okay, so yeah, I propose we quickly tie up our loose ends here in the cage, and then make our way to Automata.
Very well. One moment, please. You see me walk off stoically off to the side while I'm moving in towards one of the downed Modrons and start to inspect it. Try to turn it over. Realize it's rather heavy.
Yeah, I'm gonna head over to a Modron too.
don't
I'll give
you
you a hand
think? Don't you think it is weird that we are now about to go to Automata and suddenly all of them fall to the ground?
I believe it is not just a simple coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidences at all.
Though maybe their god Primus has fallen. That would be a glorious day for all of us. Not so if we're going to his world, though. Things might be falling apart around him. We will find out, though.
I just roll my eyes.
I'm going to do an inspection of this Modron and see if I can just sense if it's just lost its spark of life or what the hell's going on.
Give me a search.
All right, so that is a 1 on a d6 roll. And I rolled a 1 on the
Nice.
d6 roll.
Look this thing over. It seems they are a living creature, which you would know that, but they are also sort of a clockwork in the sense. So they're not magically powered. They're actually living, but they're sort of like the in-between state. As you look this thing over, its eye will sort of have this glazed look, but it will look back at you and shift just a little bit as if it kind of focuses in. You see the pupil dilate a little bit as it focuses on you. Its leg twitches just a slight amount. It doesn't look like it's dead by any means, but it looks like it's almost resetting itself or rebooting.
Mm-hmm.
You see its leg twitch a little bit more, and its eye will kind of dilate a little bit. Slowly, over the next couple of minutes, it'll start to move a little bit more until it finally can move again.
It lives.
It does, but can it communicate? Start snapping my fingers in front of this now focusing eye, see if it can respond to my stimulus.
I'll just talk to it. Modron, can you speak?
It'll take a good couple of minutes as you guys wait before this thing finally pulls itself back up on these two little spindly sort of legs. Its eye will first look at the snapping fingers of Vendrick, and then over to you, Zephyr, when you ask. And it'll sort of narrow its eyes a little bit, and you can see that the normal, they don't ever look happier, but they usually kind of have the upturned, grinnish sort of face on them. It's just completely emotionless, flat looking as it stares at you. Doesn't say anything. It seems to study you, though, quite intensely.
I think his idea pot is damaged.
Yes, it does seem like his brain box has acquired a few dents. If we can get it to come with us, Zephyr, I might be able to communicate with it. Not in this moment, however. I will have to reference my other book number 1. I go into my satchel right away and put this little small traveling book and start filtering through the pages as quick as I can.
Are the others up, or just this one?
No, the other ones just slowly get up in the same sort of fashion, kind of jerking about and look a little out of sorts, but getting back to their feet.
Okay.
People sort of give them a wide berth. You can see other people are sort of caught off guard by it, but I mean, they're strange creatures anyway, so people don't really look too much into it.
So for them to come through Automata, they would also have to come here by way of portal, yes?
Most likely, yes.
But it might be a known like gate portal and not the secret one that I have knowledge of.
Presumably there'd be a lot of different portals between the two, but yeah, odds are it's probably not the same, being that it's a smaller one that you know of.
Right.
Is this thing? Go ahead.
This one that's studying me, I'm gonna say, follow me. You, Modron, follow me, and I'm gonna take a few steps to the side and see if it'll listen to my commands.
Its eye watches you as you shift over to the side, and you feel yourself bump into somebody beside you, Zephyr. And as you turn to look, you see one of the hardheads staring back at you, and it takes just that brief second before you recognize this guy. And he stares back at you for just a moment. Two more hardheads are behind him. He says, "Hey, you stole the pack from that orc." And as he mentions this, you immediately recognize the 3 hardheads you dealt with before, with the orc that fell on the ground and they were chasing after him. And he stares at you for a few moments. "Where's the kid you were with?"
Well, sirs, I'm not a thief, and the last time I saw that kid, whose name is Accord, was at the Durkin Firkin Tavern.
Says, "Well, we're going to take you down anyway to the office." And he'll reach out to grab a hold of your arm.
I'm gonna dip my shoulder out of the way and just hold my hands up and say, I was given something by that orc, but I didn't steal from him. I'm a being of law. If you want, it was just some soiled clothing, but if you want it,
His eyes will narrow, but he'll hold out his hand. He says, No. We're looking for a disc. The orc stole a disc from us. It was in his pack. He bumped into you, the other lad, then it was gone.
The orc
Says, "We're going to take you down for questioning anyway. Come along." Again, he'll reach out a little bit more forcefully to try and go hold or grab you.
How many are there?
There's 3.
Do we have a problem here, Zephyr? I look back from my book.
You can see this hardhead look over at you, Vendrick. Says, "Are you friends with this man?"
I wouldn't call him friend, but I know him, and I cannot say the same for you.
Well, then you can come down for questioning too. And he'll sort of snap his fingers. You see one of these other guards kind of come around behind you, Vendrick, to sort of block your way from moving around too much.
Is one next to me?
You're all sort of there together, so yeah.
I shift my weight to one side and then swing around my butt into the one closest to me while shouting, "Run!"
So she gives him a big hip check, big ass check.
Big old ass check. Go ahead and give me an attack, Zon.
I'm also I'm gonna cast command when you get a second too.
Is that considered wrestling?
In this case, I'll say sure.
Okay. 11 plus 1 is 12 plus 4 is 16.
I believe I got a roll comparable, don't I? I'm pretty sure. So as you spin around, tell the others to run, and basically ass check this poor guy as he bounces back a little bit. And it's almost in a flurry. You can see the captain head guard guy that's been talking to Zephyr reach down and he unsheathes his blade. The other 2 as well pull out. The one is kind of smacked up against the wall where you left him. He steps out of the way. Go ahead and give me initiative, guys.
Oops.
Initiative is a D6, right?
Yep, just straight D6.
All right, 5 for me.
Oh, 7.
Well done, ass checker.
Yes.
What do you add to it?
Nothing, just a straight D6.
Unless you have a dexterity bonus.
Nope, that's not even add. It's just an extra ability that Zon has. Otherwise, just a straight D6.
Yeah. I have a 1.
Okay.
Theta has a 1.
Oh, what a surprise!
Did you change the standard rule that a high deck score gives you an additional or initiative bonus?
Oh, I didn't think it did in general at all. Maybe it does.
Yeah, it does.
I think it does. Yeah.
I have a +1 initiative for my decks. Yeah.
Oh, my bad then. Yeah, sorry. I was thinking it didn't.
Does it? Oh, okay, cool. Then I have a, I get a 4.
Gotcha.
3 + 1.
So to make sure that this is correct, Tiva has a +4 dexterity bonus.
Holy
+4.
shit!
How do you get that? What's your dexterity?
18.
Holy Christ!
I think that's only a +3, ain't it?
But
Oh, because she's a halfling, because she gets a +1 because she's a halfling. Okay, gotcha.
That's pretty impressive.
Nice.
yeah, that's like the one stat she's got that's pretty good.
It's like a blur. This little halfling.
So she got a 7 also. In that case.
All right, I think that's everybody.
She'd
Yeah.
be first because it's the dex modifier.
These hardheads would get fucked up.
All right, that means Zan and Tiva, you guys are at the top, so don't matter what order you go in.
You go first, halfling.
Well, so we've got 3 people, right? Are all of them distracted?
Distracted by her.
Okay, well, they're distracted by, but all right. So I'm gonna sneak around and try to backstab one of them.
Which one? This seems
What?
the one who was ass checked by the giant horse goat person was probably the most distracted.
Okay, I'll do that one.
All right.
All right.
How does this work? This one's up. We haven't had comeback yet.
Yeah, we have it. You have it.
I haven't.
You just make an attack.
When I see her doing that, I shout, "No!"
Yeah.
Hey, you're the one that bumped him.
Yeah, but she shouted yours.
It's great too because she doesn't understand the
Exactly.
of these hardheads.
I don't know how is there backstabbing in this one?
I don't think.
Well, you don't have to roll.
It's an ability.
Yeah. You get like depending on how many pips you have in sneak attack, you multiply your damage.
By that many pips.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
He's got 2 pips in that.
Yeah.
All right, so it'll be a normal attack. If you hit, you multiply by that however many, so 2 in that case.
But it has to be reasonable. Like you can't backstab from the front and blah blah blah.
Yeah, they're definitely not paying attention to the halfling. They're
Yeah.
This seems like a pretty good scenario for. It's saying like any character can make a sneak attack, which is just an attack made by surprise, but a specialist can multiply the damage done by however many points they put in that skill. So it's just another skill for them. That's cool.
So yeah, go ahead and make your attack.
You got a straight 18. She gets no bonuses.
Okay, that'll definitely hit. I'm looking for the AC on these guys at the moment. 15 is their AC, so yeah, for sure. So then, whatever your damage is, times 2. If you got 2 pips in, sneak attack.
Great.
So, all right, so it's you multiply it just by the number of pips. So if you had 1 pip, it wouldn't multiply by 2.
I believe that's how it works. Yeah, because I know you have to start because that would basically be everybody.
Yeah, it says assume that the damage multiplier is ×1 for all characters, but for every point allocated to the skill by a specialist, the damage multiplier is increased by 1.
Yes.
So
Okay, all right. So she got a 6 damage there.
it also says if a specialist has any points in sneak attack, then he also gets a +2 bonus to hit above any other bonuses when performing a sneak attack.
Sneak attack.
Yeah. Well, she
So
hit.
you're +2 to hit also when your sneak attacks.
You hit anyway, but yep, keep that in mind too. All right, cool, gotcha. This guy let out a yell as your blade sort of finds a place right in between the back of his shoulder blades. In the distance, you can hear Zan begin to yell, and that means you are up, Zan.
Oh man, I turn around and I like
It's too late.
kick up the sand on the street or the rubble on the street, and I make a turn and I charge the halfling. At least it looks for a moment like that. And I try to lean down and pick her up as she's putting her dagger into that poor man. You stop that! Come on, run, run, run!
Are you grabbing her and running then?
No. I just want. I don't want to do more damage to those people. Thank God. No. I just want to pick her up. Like if she resists, I probably have to roll an attack and try to carry her away.
So, are you going to resist?
No. No, I won't resist.
Yeah, you hear the hoofs beat on the plaster of the street.
Just you grab a hold of Tiva. It don't look like the guards are too happy regardless. Vendrick, you are up.
Hendrik looks up from his book, taking a half step back from the hard head that had begun to close in on him from behind. With a quick motion, he draws a glyph into the air in front of him. Trailing his finger, you see this surge of energy. First it's white and colored, and it saturates and turns blue. In a deep voice, "Barakula fan," he says, and with it you see this gust of energy emanate from him as if it was a wind buffet from his body, and then there's nothing. You don't see anything. But what I'm casting is Unseen Servant, and I've informed my Unseen Servant to assist in pushing, to the best of its ability, that Modron in the direction in which I begin to walk. So the Unseen Servant is able to put 40 pounds of pressure, which is not a significant amount, but I'm going to enlist it to try and usher along to the best of its ability that Modron as I start to walk away. As soon as the spell is cast and the energy of the symbol, the glyph dissipates around my finger, it's time for us to leave. Zephyr, if you have business here, we want to see to it later. Come to me, come with me, and I will show you the way to Automata. And as I walk by, I'm going to casually reach out and pluck a hair out of the tail of the Bauer Zahn.
What?
And I start to walk towards Jason's office.
Gotcha.
If I could do all that in one round.
Yeah, that's fine. You can see this Modron. It does take a kind of a juddering sort of step, and another one. You can sense that your servant is motioning up forward, but it seems to almost be just studying the surroundings and watching things, but it slowly moves behind you and a little bit more and picks up speed and stuff as this thing fully becomes aware of what's going on around it. Zephyr, you are up. Oops, you're muted. My bad. There you
go. Why did you mute me? Is there? Do I have like a ambient sound or something?
There was one behind you. Sounded like a car or something. Was
on my end?
Yeah. It's not there now, so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
All right. So we have one stabbed hardhead, and the other two are all right.
Yep. The other two are looking at you at the moment, especially the captain guy. You can see that he's planning to. I mean, you get the sense that he's looking to kind of detain you.
Yeah.
One of them's reaching behind, grabbing a pair of handcuffs. He has his blade out.
So I'm gonna tell not the captain, but the other one that's reaching for his handcuffs. I'm gonna cast command, and basically I just shout in an authoritative voice like, "Flee."
Oh, do I need a save for that?
If he has intelligence of 12 or higher.
Yeah, I would say being a hardhead, he would. Let's see. What's
really? Mine's not even 12 or higher.
Same here.
Let me see what the guards have. I got their stats here. B minus. No, he will not. Actually, you are right. No, he will not.
That's why I didn't go for the captain. I figured just like some subordinate wouldn't be that. So he just basically, he just takes off running in the other direction. Bye-bye.
Beautiful. You can see the captain sort of swings around a little bit confused. His eyes kind of squinting a little bit at you.
And I'll use that brief moment of confusion to take off in the direction of my friends.
We're probably running now in two different directions because Vendrick was going for Jason's office, right? And I'm probably running into a completely different direction to my dad. Yeah, split the party.
Which way you headed, Zephyr?
Well, I wanted to. Yeah, I did want to take care of the stuff that we were doing, and that was my original plan, was to take care of the stuff that we were doing in Sigil first. So I'm gonna follow Zan. I do want to get to. I do want to check out the apartment, but not till we take care of everything.
The cage is big. We'll get rid of them.
Yeah, I think we could hide out for a day.
You see the guard that was hit by Tiva kind of reach back, this wound in his back. Not too bad, but still clearly hurting him a fair amount. And he'll look over at the captain, who seems extremely infuriated. He was going to motion towards where he sees Vendrick running. He's like, go get him. You see this guard that you had start running towards where you're at, Vendrick, as well as your Modron. He quickly runs past that, and he's running towards you. Behind him, he's reaching behind and swings around. He has a pair of handcuffs. The captain's going to swing back at where you are at, Zephyr, and begins to take chase after you. Seda, you're kind of left here in the middle of all this. You've seen the warrior grab your friend and take off in one direction. Zephyr going in that way as well. In the other direction, Vendrick and the Modron and a guard. You're sort of left in the street. Decided which way to go.
Well, obviously, given a choice, she's going to run after Zan because Zan has her friend, and she's just going to have this look like, what in the hell is going on? And then she'll just like, oh, so none of the guards are left around me at all or anything?
If you're going that way, you're going to be basically running beside the captain who's chasing after them.
What a picture!
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start running right beside the captain as chasing.
Kneecap him.
And as we're running, I'm just going to kind of look up at him, and then right at the end, while I still have enough time, I'm going to stop and just do the old school trick where I'm just going to try and kick his leg out from under him as he's running and see if I can trip him and make him fall.
Go for it. Just make it a regular attack.
All right.
Be unarmed, but regular attack otherwise.
Okay. So that for me would be +4. I got 15 with the bonus.
Yeah, because it's not against his armor really. So yeah.
I rolled an 11, but I got a +4 bonus. So.
Basically,
I'm just trying to sweep his legs and make him stumble and fall on his face, and then I'll keep running.
Yeah, just give me a 1d4 -1 for damage, and you'll fall.
All right. 1d4 -1?
Yep.
It'd be 1 point then.
So yeah, you guys, Zan, Zephyr, as you guys look behind, you can see Seda running alongside. He kind of looks up at she looks up at the chief, and he looks down at her for the moment. You see this stubby little leg kick out, and the captain is just going to face plant into the cobblestones. Stubby little feet of this dwarf running behind you.
Laughing.
Slowly look to pick himself up as you guys are hauling ass away. You'd be able to get a good chunk ahead. Only other thing you would have then is Vendrick behind you as you look behind this other guard, quickly catching up to you. He bypasses this Modron that you're waiting for to get to you. He has his handcuffs in his other hands. What do you do?
Has he caught up to me or still trailing?
He's still trailing probably about 20 feet or so, but you guys have equal speed unless you're waiting for that Modron, which is a lot slower at the moment.
I definitely want to keep that Modron in my company. So sensing him on my tail and closing as I slow down to look over my shoulder, my hand instinctively goes to the arming sword at my hip. I spin around with quite a bit of grace, and I point the sword out directly in his direction. Not threatening, not swinging it, just in his direction. Halt! You have no business with me, and none me with you. I suggest you follow your captain.
He'll skid to a stop, staring at you for a few moments. Give me... I'm just going to say an intelligence check on this guy.
Okay, so roll under my intelligence. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I rolled a 5 and my intelligence is 15.
All right. You'll notice as he kind of comes stop, he looks a little bit disheveled and after been running stuff, but you see, this sort of amulet around his neck. It has a pendant at the bottom, but it's come out from underneath this hide armor that he has on. And you can see, let me check and make sure I got the right one. Yes, you can see this amulet has a symbol of the Fated on it. It's not a hard hat, or he doesn't have any insignia of being a hard hat or any of them, but this amulet that he has definitely has the little pendant of the Fated on it. And he'll skid to a stop staring at you. He'll look over his shoulder in the distance. You can see the captain on the ground and the other one just completely fleeing off into the distance, obviously caught by Zephyr. And he'll stop and stare at you for a moment, almost like he's studying, looking at what you look like and stuff. Puts up his hands, says, I don't have a qualm with you. He'll turn his back towards you and start walking back to help his captain.
What do I know of the Fated? What do I know of that faction indoor group of people or things? Is that I personally do not know, but my character might.
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, they're sort of a secretive group, but you do know that they are people who are, you believe in power makes you become something. So they're always looking for a way to gain power or get power of some sort. And that is how you become anything within the world. The more power you get, and whether it's stepping on other people or not, doesn't matter. It's all about power.
So they are one of the factions here of Sigil then. Okay, very well. So were they disguised as hard hats originally?
That's what you get the sense of, yes.
Okay, so they're really not that. They're just trying to cause shit. It matters not to me. I'm going to continue on towards Jason's office. And sorry, I skipped away there when other people were making their decisions. So they went in a different direction, is that correct?
Yep, they went probably down the other direction of the street, and you headed towards Jason's office. Yep. So you're basically stuck on your own at the moment.
Okay, I'm going to continue towards Jason's office. I have my scout and or my guide that I needed, so I'm content to continue on.
Swing over to Zantiva, Zephyr, and Seda. Seda, you're able to quickly catch up to the others as they turn the corner and start moving. Zan, I assume you're probably kind of leading this group, so what do you guys headed?
We're heading to the NNFFW headquarters, which is basically a barn in the market district. And while we're running and hopefully then start walking again after some time when we realize we're not being followed anymore, I look around and I'm searching for a cord, knowing he's always there when you don't need him and sometimes when you need him.
You don't see him at the moment. He doesn't seem to be around. You do know you did leave him back at the Dirk and Firkin, but because nobody would go out back with him for some reason.
Nobody what?
Nobody would go out back with him.
Oh, true, yeah.
To the party that was going on, but no, you don't see him at the moment. Nope.
Dang it. So while we're walking, I let Tiva down back down to the ground, and I say, "Listen, halfling, biter. We don't attack heavily armored people here because they are usually hardheads, and I count on my fingers. They're dangerous. Well, at least they can make your life suck badly, and they can put you in prison. You know what prison is, right?
Well, yes, I know what prison is, but they were gonna hurt our friends. I had to try to help.
Well, next time maybe, well, you don't have the size for it, as I look down to her. But maybe, you know, they are kind of nasty if you don't treat them according to their position. You know, you shouldn't hurt them too much, you know.
I believe that size matters not, and I thank you for stepping in my defense, Tiva.
Seda would run up at the time and like tired from trying to run with her stumpy little legs, and like she'd drape one arm across the the goat back portion of Zell, and she would say, "My dad used to call me hard head all the time," and you know,
I can't imagine why.
except for that one time that it fell, but we don't like talk about that. But are you guys okay?
Well, yeah. I just hope we don't see them again too soon. Where's Vendrick?
He headed towards. He told me to follow him. He headed towards Jason's apartment. I think he's trying to go to Automata now.
Oh, that's bad. Well, let's get done with this fast. And I approach the barn-sized building with the little advertisement on top of the door. And I push it open and I shout, "Dad!"
This door swings open and you look around. And the place has been completely trashed, Zan.
What?
The shelves have been knocked apart. Furniture's turned over. This countertop where your father, kept most of his notes and schedules and whatnot. Everything's been rifled through, and the place is just in complete chaos. Your father is nowhere to be seen.
What?
Seda, as you walk in behind her, you can feel your foot sort of catching something. You look down, you see what looks to be a broken bit of a primitive-looking spear lying on the ground.
So I reach down and pick it up.
What is that you have in your hand, Seda?
Well, it looks like a broken spear. Kind of like.
But that's not my, or is it my dad's?
I don't know. Is it your dad's?
I'm asking the void noise.
Oh.
Voice. Does it look like my dad's weapon?
No, it looks much more primitive.
Okay, yeah, thought so. This is not what. What's going on here?
Looks like
Is this
an altercation.
Yeah, it looks like some violence happened here. Is this your father's office or his home or both?
Well, both. Can't you see? And I point at a heap of straw in one corner.
Oh, okay. Do you mind if I take a look and search throughout the place? Maybe we can find a clue as to what happened here.
Be my guest. And I start rifling through the stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to just start rifling through your father's belongings without your blessing.
You guys move around in between this barn area, office, home, hay bed, whatever you want to call it. It looks definitely like there was a fight here. Stuff is sort of in chaos. You can see some of the walls are scarred up. As you move over to where this hay bed is and stuff, there's certainly several pools of blood and splatters along part of the wall. It's pooled a little bit at the base of this hay pile. You'll see what looks to be a shattered glass vial across the ground. No liquid or anything, just the vial itself is shattered. It perfectly resembles the same kind that you had before, except for like the longer tube that had the liquid in it.
Yeah.
No liquid, but the vial itself matches the same style. Beyond that, you don't see any other odds and bits.
Does the blood appear to be like normal red blood?
Yeah, fairly fresh too. If you had to guess, maybe within the past half hour-ish at most.
Oh wow! Okay.
It's a little bit tacky, but it's not dried up or nothing.
Well, if they tried to steal my dad's beauty, they were up for a surprise. I was totally devastated.
I'm gonna search like the grounds around the building for if it's that fresh, maybe we can still find them. I'll look for any bits of blood outside of the grounds, maybe indicate what direction they left in.
Give me a search check.
4.
As you sort of walk around the outside, you don't see any trails of blood or anything, and you kind of look, maybe a few spots here and there, but no distinct trail of what direction they went through, just spatterings. As you get toward the back side of the building, you sort of come around the corner, though. You can see up ahead, it's the back alley side of the barn or whatever this building is. You'll see a form laying on the ground. It catches you sort of unaware at first, but as you notice it and you look over at this thing, it's definitely a warrior. Older, a bit graying, just sprawled out on the ground. Looks dead.
I check his vitals just to. He looks dead. I want to confirm.
As you go up on this thing, you can definitely see he's dead. He has a huge gash across the front of his neck. You'll see a simple silver coin that's been placed on top of, I guess his head's sort of at the angle, but it's been placed over left eye, I'll say. Just sort of almost like placed there purposely, but otherwise a big gash across his throat, a couple on his body here and there, clearly dead.
Silver coin. Anything like printed on it, or
probably just whatever the common currency here is, and sigil.
So it's like a sigil silver.
Yeah.
I follow after like a minute, still looking, and as I turn around the corner, I see my dad lying on the ground, and you just hear like a very inhuman shout coming from his throat as he rushes for his dad and thumps with his heavy body on the ground next to him, take him into his arms. I give
Zan
now. Oh man.
I give Zan plenty of room and just kind of stand off to the side stoically.
Seda would walk over and just kind of like get down on her knees next to Zan and not really say anything, but just kind of reach over and just kind of put a hand on the shoulder and not say anything, but just kind of like be supportive without being vocal, because she doesn't really know what else to do.
And Tiva would stand there motionless, just shocked at the sight, and just put her hand over her mouth and just stands there silently.
I motion to Tiva, like this thing. I point to blood and do like eyes, like sort of try to.
So she looks down at the blood and just says, "Oh my, what happened? Who did this?"
I think it may be some the lizard men that we ran into earlier. Do you think you could track them?
Well, I can certainly try. All right, gotta figure out how to track.
As you look through those, I'll swing over to Vendrick. You're off to the side. You notice that this guard has sort of left you alone. He seemed to take some notes, or at least stare at you for a few moments, trying to maybe recall what you look like or get a description for the future. But he puts his hands up, showing that he doesn't have on any beef or anything, and turns, walking away to go help his captain off the ground. The Smoldering behind you will come marching up quickly, picking up speed until it's sort of moving at the same pace you are, still a little jerky and stuff. And it seems to be being pushed forward by your servant. It doesn't fight back or do anything, but it's clearly very intent, and its eye just spins back and forth, looking at everything, taking in all of this information. Its pupil constantly dilates and undilates, as it seems to be really focused on where it is and what it is. It doesn't say anything, but just takes in all this information as it walks with you.
Yeah, I will continue on to the office, and we'll do some reconnaissance and see if I can't gather any information that Jason may have left behind, or anything that I could find useful going forward. So once I get to the office entrance where we started this grand adventure 2 sessions ago, I just look back over my shoulder once more to make sure that that faded has not continued to look down the corridor towards me.
It'll follow around the corridor. You enter this alleyway where Jason's office is. Looks exactly the same as you left it before. You can still see the shattered glass window where Tiva and Seda fell out of, the doorway that you were standing in. You never got a chance to fully go inside or anything. You come up to where this door is, and you can see before it was closed. Now it is open 3 or 4 inches. You can hear movement around on the inside. It doesn't sound like... It sounds like there's more like maybe one person shifting around and doing something in there.
Okay, once more my hand goes to my sword. I reach it out and slowly begin to open it, trying to do so quietly as not to draw attention to myself as I peer in to see what or who is inside.
Door slides open a couple inches and a couple inches more. It takes you a moment for your eyes to adjust to this dreary sort of darkness in this place. But you see a small form, maybe half your height at the most, in the corner, shifting around, movement. Graffiti inside this place just covers all of the walls. You can see all the different signs of the factions and just regular graffiti in general.
So the office turned into a flop house?
Over in the corner, you see this small figure. It shifts around a little bit, and as your eyes start to adjust, you see it's, like I said, about half your size, covered in heavy rags and stuff. And then you can hear that little bit of a creak of the door, and it completely stops, turning its head slowly in your direction. You see 2 red, beady eyes staring back at you. It doesn't move as you don't move, just sort of having that standoff for the moment. And then you'll see it point out, and it has what looks to be just a stick off of a tree or something, and it points it at you as if in warning.
Easy now, little one. I mean you no harm. And with that, I step inside and slowly close the door once the Modron catches up. Let it inside as well.
This small figure, I'll back up as far as it can get into this corner. You see that it has what looks to be a small makeshift bed, just rags and some hay and stuff. There's another sack on the floor next to it filled with moldy fruit. It's spilled out. You can see books, old books, pretty much line the walls here and there. A lot of them have been torn apart. There's a small makeshift little fireplace type thing where the books have been burned, maybe for heat or something. The fireplace itself is quite immaculate. It's dirty and dusty, but you can see it's very well built, but it hasn't been touched. The fire this thing has started is not in the fireplace. It's over to the side. It stands there. It doesn't move. It does the same thing. You can just see its eyes staring at you, but it holds this stick out in front of it. And it'll reach down and slowly pick a fruit off the floor and bring it up to its mouth, kind of underneath these rags, and eat on it a little bit. Does it say or do anything? It doesn't come after you, but it just holds the stick out in defense of itself.
Can't tell what it is underneath its cloths and rags.
No, you can tell that it is some sort of small humanoid, obviously not human or anything, and it doesn't look, from what you can see, the build of it doesn't look human or anything like that.
You said his eyes are red. Are they like just like red irises, or is it like something else, something Inferno?
Nope, not Inferno by any means. More like Dark Vision or something like that.
Gotcha. As I said, little one, I mean you no harm. I'm not here for you. I'm here for this and this and this. These books all around you. You won't mind if I look around a little, would you? And my eye goes to the immaculate fireplace, and I just assume, and I reach out the book at the same time. Is that his book? Is that the way through? Looking at the fireplace.
It is. It is.
Must I burn this? And I put the little, fragment of hair in front of my eyes.
Put it up. Simple flame. Drop it in the place in the portal over here. As you look at this fireplace, though, you can see this small figure sort of sidesteps over in front of the fireplace itself, almost like it's trying to defend it, and it holds its stick out. It'll reach up and unclasp some of these rags, and you can see underneath it's actually a goblin. And he stares at you and says, No. You not touch Stigley's dinner.
I want no dinner, just the books. You're not eating the books, are you, little goblin?
10 silver. 10 silver per book.
10 silver per book. I think not. I think I give you your life and you step aside.
And he'll hold out the stick. I will disintegrate you.
Oh, it's a wand, is it? You're a creature of magic. I too am a creature of magic, goblin. Far greater than yours. And with that, I boom, my voice as loud and intimidating as I can. And if not the magic, there's always this. And I put my hand to the sword. Step aside, and I will cause you no harm.
He does not move. He just holds the stick out in front of him. And you get sort of, as he moves a little bit and his rags ruffle, this strong smell of decay, like rotting meat. Sort of ways forward. He says, no. Do not touch Stigley's dinner.
Are you Nicholas? Is that pronounced correctly? Are you talking about yourself in third person, goblin? Or is there another? And I look around.
He'll pat himself. Stigley. You know Stigley's dinner.
Don't worry, Figley. I do not want your dinner. As I said, though, you stay where you're at. And I start moving as if he's not there. Start moving around and start to see if I can see any order to the chaos that is these books strewn about.
Let's see what's all we got there.
Again, I'm looking for anything that might have some script that might say anything about Huron, a countess, plethora, automata, anything that's directly relative to the Athar, or just anything at all that Jason might have signed and or scribblings of the research that he was doing.
Browsing through, a lot of the books just seem like various textbooks and things like that for mathematical formulas and accounting and whatnot. As you look over the desk that was in the corner, now this thing is basically like a burnt husk. Looks like somebody burned it down quite a long time ago, but a few pieces stand. There are some papers and stuff that have been put on there. You see some that link to the Athar, just mainly different numbers and accounting, almost like it's bank information. You can see money coming and going out of this account book and things going here and there. Nothing's really labeled on what it is. It's just all the mathematical formulas and stuff. There's 4 silver pieces there as well. You'll also see a small locket. There's no chain on it, but the locket itself, it's partly open, rusted up pretty bad, not looking very good. But you see a picture of a woman in it, and you'll recognize it as Jana, the same girl you saw back at the Dirk and Firkin, and the same one that the book told you was the one that stole him. He was here in this place. And Bookostop says, that is the woman. She came in dazed. It stops for a moment, and you kind of get the sense that it's thinking. 67 days after Jason left. 67 days and 12 hours. Stole anything of importance. Myself, his gold, count books. Sold it all to the pawn shop.
Most unfortunate book. But please, I'm talking out loud, not caring at this point if the goblin is hearing me or not. Please point me to any direction of anything that I might be able to find useful. Something to point me in the direction of this Countess Plethora of Automata. I am out of my element, book. I must admit I have never been far in these outlands. Even this portal I see before me. If not for you, I fear I would be helpless into knowing how to trigger it. And what of this goblin? This creature, this foul thing? Do you know anything of it, or is it just a squatter as it appears?
I assume it is just a squatter as it appears. I've never seen such a thing. But I do recognize that stick that it holds. It says, don't underestimate the small critter, for that indeed is a wand of disintegration.
Whoa, that's right, book. Things are getting interested indeed. And with that, I'll do this like half cocked eye back over my shoulder, like a little evil, sinister look over my shoulder back at the goblin.
Yes, he says, Jason held it for quite a long time as a weapon against any would-be intruders. I never saw him use it, and I thought the woman had stolen it. But that is it. I remember it quite clearly.
Most interesting. Maybe I should have words with this Festus, whatever his name was. I've forgotten. So.
Figley.
Figley. Maybe I will have further words with Figley then. Goblins are known to like shiny things. And I look through my satchel and see if I can't find anything that might trigger the interest of such a trinket gatherer. But I have very little.
Figley stands to the side, watching all this. If you're speaking out loud, listening as well. And he holds this stick out in front of him, clearly defensive. He doesn't take any actions against you or anything, but clearly on the defensive if you tried to do anything. Except, who are you?
I give it freely, Figley. My name is Atheon Vendrick with the Athar. And who are you beyond your name? What brings you here? Does seem like a comfortable place to reside.
Hold up his hand. Stayed here for 3 months. 3 months. Eating, resting out of the outside. Figley home.
It is a lovely home. I'm glad you have allowed me to enter it. And I mean you no harm, Figley, but I will offer you this. The stick you have in your hand is indeed magic, and it is indeed dangerous. Too dangerous for someone like yourself to wield. I offer you give it to me, and I give you something more fitting of a creature of your standard or your station. Something powerful, something you can protect this home with and not burn it down. And I look to the burnt desk and everything all around. Tis a dangerous thing you hold. This will do you much better. And with it, I reach inside my robe and pull out a hand crossbow. Finely crafted. The best money can buy.
Looks at that. Looks at his stick. Looks at that. Figley poke a dog. Dog go poof. I like stick.
Yes, you must be careful not to poke yourself, though, Figley. I worry about your well-being, after all. I need someone to protect this place.
His eyes will widen almost in horror, like he's never thought of this before. Sort of looks at that. And I rolled a 3 for his intelligence. So, yeah, you show me how to use that.
Very well. Set up a target, will you, Figley? Anything will do. One of those pieces of fruit you love so much. And I assure you, if you guard this place well, and guard this, and I point to the fireplace, with this, then I will bring you all the finest fruits that we can find here in the cage for you. Please, set up an apple. I will show you how it shoots. Even a child can handle it, but you are a smart creature. You should be able to master it in no time.
Figley smart. He'll grab this mostly rotten apple and put it up. He says, Figley like meat, though. You bring back meats. Cats, dogs, rats. Boy, your shanks. Very, very tasty.
I can find meat for you.
He'll put up this little apple on the stand. He tucks in this wand, and he goes to sort of in his belt, but he sort of stops, unsure of how he should best hold this thing, and sort of just kind of holds it away from him so he doesn't accidentally poke himself as he walks over towards you.
It is a simple apparatus, Figley. You see this? You pull this back until it clicks. Hear that sound? And I show him, kind of like if you were showing a girl how to take a shot with a pool stick. I'm kind of like leaning over the little thing. Just like this, Figley. You just pull it back until you hear it snap. Yeah, that's it, Figley. You are smart indeed. This trigger right here. Put your finger there, Figley. And you just pull it softly. Feel it? Feel the movement of the trigger apparatus. Yes, that's it, Figley. So you've mastered it already. You are smart indeed. Now aim it, Figley. See those? That's the crosshairs, Figley. You line it up, and if your target sits between those crosshairs, your shot will be true. You will be able to protect your home for any intruders. You will even be able to use it to hunt cat, dogs, little sigil boys, whatever your heart desires. It can be yours. And it won't be disintegrated, Figley. You can't eat disintegrated meats, can you?
Figley, try it. Not good.
Go ahead, take your shot. And then step back.
Hold this crossbow. He wavers about a little bit.
Maybe you should let me hold that, Figley. When you shoot, you will need 2 hands.
Oh.
I'll reach out for the wand.
He'll look despairingly at it for just a moment and sort of lines up the shot and looking at it, and clearly unable to do this without his 2 hands. He'll reach over and hand you this twig of a stick. You can see that it's carved in with multiple different small runes and symbols on this thing, ones you hadn't seen before when he was holding on to it. The handle itself is wrapped in sort of this old leathery plastic stuff. And he says, like this. You know, hold this thing up, and you see the arrow smack into this apple. This big, wide, toothy smile sort of spreads across his face. I Figley like this.
The trade is set then, Figley. Agreed.
Agreed.
Very good, Figley. I will ask one more thing of you. I have friends that will be coming through this door shortly. I will ask that you not shoot them, for they are not good eating. You might think the halfling will look tasty, but I assure you she is not. Tough meat, not good to eat. The dwarf might taste a little better, but you might not want to interact with her. She's an angry sort. And the horse meat, or the goat, or whatever that creature is, I'm not sure what that bower is made of, but again, better used for glue than meat.
Figley love warrior, though. The hind haunches.
Don't mess with this one, Figley. This one is dangerous, very dangerous.
Figley, good shot, though. Good shot. Right between the eyes. Figley handle it. Don't you worry.
I asked you one more thing. Have you seen anyone come through here, Figley? And I point to the immaculately kept fireplace.
Look over. No, not seen any. No. His eyes will kind of skirt back and forth like he's trying to avoid the whole thing.
Very well, then. If you see anyone after I leave, please make sure you make note of their physical presence and appearance, for I will have questions when I return. And when I return, I will bring many meats for you, Figley.
Figley like this. It's a good deal between
friends, Figley.
Friends.
I am Vendrick. Atheon Vendrick. What do you think of gods? Do you have gods do you have pantheon of gods? You goblin kind. You specifically, Vendrick.
No, I just eat warrior meats and rats and cats and such things. Excellent. What you do? And he'll hurry over and he reaches up into this little chimney area and pulls down this burlap sack and hurries back over unwrapping. You see what looks to be a dead cat. Most of it's been rotted away and starting to ferment a little bit. Figley no recipe. Let rest for 3 days in chimney. Excellent savory food. No need for gods when you have feast.
May I take a sample? Being that I'm undead and I'm not fazed by such things, I go over and I take a little bit of the meat and sample taste it. Yes, very good, Figley. Maybe when I return, there will be a place for you, a better home than this.
Oh, Figley, that's wonderful. That would be amazing.
Very well. I will gather some of these books, Figley, and I will just have a few moments in your company, if that's okay.
Yeah, he'll sort of pull over to the side, bring this dead, decaying cat with him, and play with this small crossbow that you gave him, clicking it back into the space, and then pulling the trigger, clicking it back without anything in it, just sort of testing it out. And makes like he's shooting it at the apple and such. slowly picking away at this dead cat, peeling the fur off as you finish looking around.
Yeah, so again, I'm just looking for some more books and or any type of thing. I'm just making sure that I don't leave anything behind that might be helpful later, whether that be information to bring back about the research that he was undertaking or information for what could be used going forward in a place I don't know anything about.
Beyond all the odds and bits, you are going to find a small little box that has a blue powder in it. If you kind of look at it, whatever, maybe touch it on your fingers, it makes you extremely itchy. Outside of that, there's a burnt piece of paper. You can see that it has what's up in the corner. It shows credits. It'll show 1,432. And then it says here on Automata Center, Council of, but the rest of it's burnt off.
Gotcha. All right, so I'll just pocket that, fold it up, and put it in my satchel beside book and book number 1. I take the box of itching powder and also put it in my satchel, being careful to make sure that the lid is fastened. And I'm just going to wait for a moment, not knowing exactly where my companions had run off to in my hurry to get here, thinking that more of these hardheads were going to be coming down upon us and making sure that we got at least this far. I'm just going to hold court for a little bit and see if anyone comes through the door.
As you finish looking around and stuff, you look over, you do see the Modron is still there. The entire time has just sort of stood in this doorway watching everything. Its eyes constantly just around. It looks at you, watches you as you move about. This fireplace portal, as you talked about that, listens to Thigley and watches it for a while, as if soaking in all of this information.
Yeah, if I could, I will. I'm not sure how you really want to approach the downtime with switching out spells and such like that, but if you will allow, I will begin the process of doing that now.
Yep, that'd be fine.
All right, so I'm going to switch out a mirror image for ESP.
I'll swing over to you others as you were all staring at Zan's father lying on the ground. Tiva, I'll say you notice at first as you're looking at this and you're sort of looking around, maybe scouting a little bit on the ground at this blood and trying to figure out what might have exactly transpired. But as you sort of come around the other corner on the other side, you kind of came around in a circle. As you come around to the alleyway on the other, up ahead, you'll see 3 of these lizard creatures disappearing into the distance, further down the alley and around a corner. They're talking to each other, but you don't know what they're saying in this weird sort of clicking, hissing sort of language. And you can just see their shadows on the wall as they fade off into the distance, getting bigger and bigger before it sort of disappears.
So they're walking outside.
Yep, they're down basically in the back alleys behind the barn building.
So she's gonna know that now that she knows what the lizard men are, she turns around to everyone else and says, "I think the guys who did it are going down that way. They're going down that alley. Should we go after them?"
I look at Zan and say, "Are you ready?"
I look over my shoulder and you see like this face of total, a mix of despair and anger. And he takes the last look at his dad, puts him down very softly, and then grabs his hammer from his side and starts running after them, galloping.
We need to keep one of them alive. We need to find out why they're doing this. Let's go. And I'm right behind Zan.
Tiva said, "Are you guys following too, I assume?"
Yeah.
As best as we can.
As best as you can, behind this galloping warrior who seems to outdistance you all a little bit as you're running behind. Come around the corner, Zan, and again, you can see those creatures pretty far off in the distance as they're going down another separate alley and turn. So it takes you a few moments before you're really able to fully catch up to these things. When you do, you've probably gone through 3 or 4 different back alleys, and you're sort of on the opposite side of the street from where your barn, office, house, whatever it is from. You know the area fairly well, though, Zan, and you can see as they turn the corner, they're actually heading down an alleyway that would end in a dead end. Shows you maybe slow to a trot or a little bit. Not fully, you know, where they're at, but sort of back a few feet from the alley they turned down. What do you do?
I try to be not too noisy and look around the corner, having had a few moments to wind down.
As you sort of slowly maybe peek around this corner and look down, it's about 30 feet long that ends in a dead end. You'll see these 3 lizard creatures moving away, but at the end of this dead end, this alleyway, there's 4 more of the creatures, 7 of them in total. One is much larger, almost twice the size of the others. It has 4 arms instead of the normal 2. It has what looks to be almost this primitive headdress of different colored feathers going across its head and down its back. Almost looks like it's part of its body. It doesn't look like an actual headdress hat, but feathers and stuff that's growing out of it. And it stands there clicking, hissing, and speaking in this weird sort of language to these things. And off to the side, just a couple feet away from it, you see Abriel standing there. And he's kind of flipping through these papers in his hands. You see he has a whole pile of money in his hand, and he hands just a big wad over to this larger chieftain sort of thing. In turn, this chieftain gives him 3 of these small little vials that it has.
Oh my god.
Oh, Judas.
I hold an arm out for the others not to pass by me and run into that alleyway.
Are there like fire escapes in the buildings around this alley?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy city-ish area right through here. So yeah, I'd say. I mean, there are no huge towering buildings, but 2 or 3 stories and stuff like that. Yeah.
I want to take to the air and start like, you know, kind of quietly climbing up. I want to get like an aerial advantage in case it becomes combat.
So yeah, maybe in the building right beside it. I'm gonna say it's about 2 stories high. You're able to get up there and sort of look down on this, get the aerial sort of view.
Is there like you know, like in back alleys, like some I don't know, trash cans or something where a barrier would be able to hide behind?
Normally there would be, but you can see everything around you looks almost as if was recently cleaned up or something. Most of the crates that would be being held out there, things like that, have been gone. This alleyway that they're standing in, there is nothing all the way down through. Maybe besides a few small little crates or barrels or something here and there, nothing big enough for you to hide behind, let alone anybody else.
So knowing the area pretty well, would I be able to discern in which direction Abriel would go to go back to his more likely business sites? You know, like if I would know he would go to the left, maybe we would be standing to the right in hopes he wouldn't look back when he leaves the alley.
Assuming that you're being that you are assuming he's headed back to like his office or something, yeah, you would know which direction that is and could sort of contradict that and hide opposite or whatever. Yeah,
so I would do sign languagey waves with my hand indicating that we should wait here and not on the other side. And you see his face is totally red and he's like having troubles not running in there and smashing his hammer into multiple faces at once.
I can imagine.
Step back a little bit and you're waiting for the others. Are you still watching this from where you're at?
Yeah, but as soon as as Abriel makes a movement like turning around to leave, he would immediately hide, of course, behind the corner.
So you notice
not only am I observing from my space on high there. I take one of my arm wraps and tuck it into my lamp and pull out my tinder kit, my flint and steel. I'm turning my lamp into like a little Molotov cocktail.
Nice. As you're up there, Tiva, Seda, what do you guys do? Just waiting behind Zan for motion, or?
Yeah, Tiva would be, considering she got yelled at the last time she did something.
Well, these are bad guys.
So she walks over to Dan and she says, "Just let me know when."
Oh, I will. I will.
Nice.
So as you're watching this then, Zan, you'll notice two of the other creatures. You heard that Jana called them Costa. But two of these other Costa have large bags filled. And every now and then you can hear like a clinking sound or whatever. You get the sense that these two bags that they have, as well as the one that this large chieftain has, is just full of these vials of liquid. They give 3 of them to Gabriel, as I said. In turn, he gives them a pile of cash. And he'll sort of step back, looking at these things, and he puts them into a little pouch that's around his waist, kind of securing them in there. And then he'll look up, and he speaks in this same clicking, hissing language to the chieftain, and they go back and forth a few. Then you see the chieftain reach up, and he rips one of these feathers out of the back of his skull. It's bright silvery. It's about a foot long, silverish colored. With that, he turns to the wall behind him and starts inscribing what looks to be some sort of ruin or something. And then you see the whole thing flare up, painfully, bright on your eyes for just a moment. And then you just see a portal appear in the wall. 2 of these Costa carrying the large vials will go through, followed by a couple more. Do you do anything yet?
No, it does. Looking at the group, does it look like he is going with them? Because I would think no. They're just doing their business in the dead end, and then he will leave. That's my assumption right now. Does he make any move to line up with them to go in there?
No, he still stands off to the side. He's looking around, like, sort of, in that guard position to make sure nobody's watching. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I wait, definitely.
Do you mean Gabriel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they open up a portal, and then 2 of them go through it.
Yep. The 2 with the sack of vials and stuff, and then 2 more, just regular lackeys. And you can see that the other 2 lackeys and then the chieftain looks like he's taking up the last position to go through.
Do any of them have that like or a staff or whatever it was with the the actual thing that they?
Yeah, you'll definitely see it in the chieftain's hand. It's probably about 5 feet long. It's topped with this sort of weird little vial that matches all the other ones, but it looks like it's been almost screwed on or something.
So it's a staff.
Yep.
And I really want to drop a Molotov cocktail in this group.
Oh, guess who else?
But if you're not, then I can only imagine that there must be some reason. But I feel like
we can always probably get back to them in some way, as long as we get Avriel, that little shit.
Did her father appear to be like stripped of his beauty when we found him? I know he was dead, so it's kind of like hard to tell that kind of thing. But
yeah, you get the same sense. Yep.
That he was like that his essence was sucked out.
Yep.
Yeah, I do not want them to get away. Can we see on the other side of the portal? Can we see through it? Like,
nope, it's just a blur. I don't know. I think one of you, it might have been Vendrick though. I don't know if one of you had an ability for like portals.
I have portal sense, but I don't think that's applicable here, right?
What does it do?
Would it give? Well, I thought it was just telling me where a portal is, or does it do more?
Nope. Portal sense will give you a sense of where one is. You can use it as well as where it might lead, or a sense about it. Then yeah,
I would like to sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, that's huge.
Let's see. Yes, 1. Yes, tell me.
I don't actually have to look and remember where it goes. So you get a sense, exactly the location being from your distance away, you're not sure, but you do know that it looks like it's heading towards it'd be the northeast of the Outlands, out towards Yggdrasil, or I can't think of the name of the actual plane that's out there off the top of my head right now, but the great tree that has all the different portals and stuff, and out in that distance, it's also really heavy wasteland of just, basically just a wasteland of desert and crap out that way. But that's where you get the sense it leads in that direction.
Okay, some of those towns, towns you have to cross to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I stay still, waiting for the portal to close. Actually, and as soon as that happens, I shove my ass into that dead end.
You can see that.
But hold on. Before that happens, so 2 have gone through. How many?
Yep, 2 carrying the large sacks of vials stuff went through. Then 2 more of the just regular lackeys went through. So there's still 2 lackeys, the chief, and the warrior in the alleyway.
Is Habriel like really close to them?
Yeah, he's standing right next to the chief. So yeah.
Who looks like they're about to go next?
The 2 other lackeys.
Okay. Once they do, that's when I light the when it's just the chief and Habriel. That's when I'm gonna. Actually, you know what? At that point, there won't be a big group anymore. There's really no need for the. I'm gonna keep my lantern, leave it up there, and once the other 2 go through, I'm jumping down kung fu style on this like meteor strike on the chieftain.
Right. You see this 2 other lackeys start to go through. From where you're at, Zan, you notice that Gabriel's holding something. He's talking back and forth with the chief. They look like they're in a bit of a conversation. But he'll reach down and he hands over this, looks like it's something kind of small and furry, towards the chieftain. From where you're at, you can't quite tell what it is, but where you're at, Zephyr, and you're looking down on this, you can see that it's actually what looks to be a horse's tail.
What the?
He hands this over to the chieftain. The thing will hold it up, and when he holds it up, you definitely see that it's a horse tail or a goat tail or whatever.
Habriel is handing the chief that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'm around the corner now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, as soon like I said, as soon as those lackeys going through, it's like meteor strike.
Yep. And yeah, they kind of pass through. The chieftain takes his tail, stuffs it into a pack, turning to head into the portal itself, and you'll actually see Gabriel as well kind of go behind the chieftain as they're both getting ready to walk through this portal.
Yeah, no.
So they don't know you're there, so you guys get first dibs. What do you do?
I will. Who's closer to or the to on whom are you going, Zephyr? On the chief?
The chief, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then I will charge Gabriel with my supercharge. Okay. 8.
So I just roll like a regular attack.
Well, how are you getting down? So you're like 20 feet up on the second story.
I'll that seems like that's like a little too much. I'll go down to like 1, but I will go down from like 1 story. I feel pretty comfortable dropping 10 feet onto the.
So maybe just sort of leaping down to that first railing, and then over the railing down, basically.
Yeah, I quietly lower myself down, drop like a cat, and then jump down, and it's like a kind of like an aerial like kick attack.
You guys are going to have the drop on them since they are not or anything. So, Zan, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I rolled a 15.
And you are going after Gabriel, right?
Yes.
All right. Is it just an attack, or are you trying to...
I charge him. I want to, like, blow all the air out of his body and possibly knock him prone.
All right.
And I failed my save for the breath.
Oh.
So I take half damage, so 2. Okay.
And full 4 damage was the total?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So as you drop down that first step, Zephyr, you can see Zan as he comes around the corner, just barreling into Abriel, smashing him. This other goat man sort of you can hear this sort of intake of breath as he slams back against the wall. The coins that he had in his hands and the money, the credits and stuff just spill across the ground. There's easily several hundred there.
Take that, Judas.
And why don't you go ahead and do your attack on the chieftain?
Sweet.
Let me check his AC real fast for you.
Oh! Critical.
I was going to say,
yes!
I assume it's not going to matter. All right.
Sick.
All right. So, yeah, it's just an auto hit. So go ahead and do up that damage. And you're coming down from above. Add, I'm going to say +3 damage to it.
So, this is exciting. So how does it? What's my damage dice for? Is it D6?
For yes. Yep.
And I multiply it by 2 or roll double dice.
There is no actual critical. It's just an auto hit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which you're going to add.
That's right.
Plus 3 to the damage on top because of coming from above, and then whatever you're unarmed, the 1d6
Strength.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
No strength.
Okay. So, all right. So I got a 3 plus 3.
6. Gotcha.
And I'm shouting for the benefit of the biters. No!
All right. Caught these by surprise, so go ahead and give me initiative, you guys.
Very excited.
And I got a 4.
Got it.
Got a 6.
Got it.
Steve, got a 7.
Got it.
I got a 3.
Got it. So, Tiva, you would be up first. These things are a little bit out of your movement range, though, because they're all the way at the end of basically a 30-foot alley.
I have a crossbow.
Okay.
Would that be considered a sneak attack if I knock an arrow and hit him with it?
They are alerted to the others, but from where you're at, yeah, I'd say in this case it will be for you, yes.
Okay.
Well, can she move forward slightly and then shoot so that the next round she can actually get there?
Yeah.
Or you just want to use your crossbow?
For the time being, I'll just use my crossbow.
Okay, that'll work.
All right.
So you get a plus.
You get
6.
a +2 on top of whatever year, so yeah, +6.
Yeah, a +6. And I got 12 total.
No, that won't quite do it.
Ah, shit.
And then you're moving forward a little bit. Zan, you are up.
I try to grapple Abriel. Like I want to kill him, but not now. And so I just want to keep him for now. And I'm shouting now constantly, rope, 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 while I'm holding him in some way. That's a 24.
Oh, damn.
I rolled a 19.
I did not. I only got a 12. So you're going to, in the grapple, let's see, in order to break free, he has strength plus multi-deck. And yeah, he didn't break free. So you have him grappled currently. If he gets, I believe it's 3. Yeah, after 3 contested rolls, if he fails, you have him pinned down to the ground or whatever kind of hold you got him in. So yeah, you have him grappled and he failed 1 so far as you hold on to him. Anything else? Or are you just holding him?
Rope! Rope!
Nice. Seda, you are up then.
So Seda, rather than trying to fish around for rope because she was already running, she's going to run up next to the one that Zan has. Do they have subdual damage in this one?
Technically no, but if you want to do subdual damage, then that's totally cool with me.
So I was either going to like run up and just kind of spin and take the butt of her great axe and just jam it right in his groin, or just do a full-on baseball bat swing and just hit him with the flat part of the axe. Either one.
Yep.
So I guess that's what I'll try to do. Just knock him out.
You're gonna give yourself +2 since she has him grappled at the moment.
Okay. Well, that would give me a +8, so I hit him. I'm pretty sure.
Shit.
So, yeah, because I rolled a 16, so
Yep, that'll hit.
that'll be a D10 plus my damage +3. Right? Hold on. Oh no, strength does not affect your damage.
No, does not. Just a straight up damage roll.
In that case, I got a 6.
Got it. I'm just going to treat that as one additional failure on his thing, too, so you'd only need one more grapple to pin him down. That puts the enemies. He's going to try and break his. You got to give me a contested again. I got a 13. Zan.
Okay. I rolled a 17, so this die is weird.
Kind of wiggle him around a little bit and basically pin him up against the wall. You can see this blood sort of scrolling down the side of his face where the flat of Sada's axe smacked him. Over to the side, you will see this creature
What does that mean?
look at you for a second, Zephyr, and he swings around, swinging this cane in your direction. Got a 17.
Ew. My armor class is 18
All right.
for melee attacks.
Will miss. And with that, he sort of.
I didn't like knock him down or knock it out of his hand when I dropped on him from height.
Not that, no.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll sort of swing this back and forth. He's sort of almost like he's trying to keep you at bay. And you can see he turns and starts to run towards this portal. He's not going to quite make it this turn, but that's where he's headed. And that means, Zephyr, you are up.
All right. I would like to move myself in between him and the portal. And then can I attempt to disarm him of that thing?
Yeah, there's disarming. Let me show what the rules are for disarming, but yes, you can.
What does that have? Yeah, it's got its own rule thing. Right.
Sweep here. Use an item, aiming, hold, change, move, cover, cast, initiative. Oh, maybe there isn't. If not, then we'll just make one up on the spot because it don't look like there is. I thought there was. Don't look like there is. I would just make it an opposed, either strength or dex. Well, he would use strength, but.
Should I be wrestling it out of his hands?
Basically, yeah.
Or I could use command and just tell him drop. Well, I'm in between him now, so I'll try to, before I use my last spell slot, I'll just try to wrestle it from his hands. So do I use dex or
you can use either one
way?
you prefer, so it doesn't matter. I mean,
it would probably be dexterity, not raw physical strength. I'm a monk, so I'm gonna try to slip my hand in a certain way, like a martial arts kind of move. I got a 16 plus 1, 17.
And he gets. I got a 17 as well, so it's tied. Go ahead and roll again.
16 again.
Right.
The bones are spoken.
13, so yeah, you're able to sort of get in between, get a hold of this thing, and start pulling it free from his hands.
Sweet.
Let's see, Zephyr, Sada, he's up, special, supposedly up.
I yell that out too to the group. I'm like, I got the thing.
And Tiva, you would be back up then.
So I'm gonna knock another arrow and try to hit. Wait, who's left? They're still both up, right?
Yep, both of them are still there.
Don't shoot the one that Zan has got though.
Okay, I'll shoot the other one then.
Yeah, I'm calling for help specifically against this guy. I'm like, I've got the thing, but he's gonna try to take it back.
Okay. Well, without my attack bonus, I got a 19.
Oh, that's a hit. Yep.
56. And I got a 4.
Got it. So another bolt buries into the sky. Zan, you are up.
Okay. Continue with grappling.
And assuming you win this one, we'll have him down, and I got a 12.
14 on the die.
So you got him totally down and submitted and motionless. He can't do anything.
We're a snort.
Seda, you are up. You can see this large chieftain thing. He's sort of wrestling back and forth, trying to get ready to grab that staff back from Zephyr.
So after flat blade, sorry about that. After flat blade swinging into the one guy that Zan has, she's gonna just kind of continue her spin around and just take a couple of steps and then bring her axe up and try and just bring it right down on the other one here. So this time I hit. Well, I rolled a. I rolled 13, but I got +4, so 17 total.
I believe that's it. Yes, it is.
And 7 points of damage.
Which one did you attack? The Habriel or the
One you got,
chieftain?
the one you asked for help.
Yours.
Yep. You called for help, so that's who she's chopping.
As you hold on to this thing, Zephyr, you can see this chieftain. He's sort of a little bit has hold, but you quickly, pulling it away from him. As you look up at this thing, its image blurs a little bit, and you can see that it's a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And within that blink, you're looking at this almost 13 foot tall. It's almost doubled in size, chieftain. These other two arms that it has reach out, grabbing a hold of this thing to give it a final yank. But as it does so, it sort of steps forward, almost shoving you at the same time that it's trying to pull away the staff. Give me one more contested roll. I'm making the contested roll to disarm you, so I roll first. 21.
Ooh.
Dang. Well, I rolled a 4.
Kind of these two other lower arms that it has just slam into your chest, sort of pushing you back as the other two hands that it has pulls back on this thing. And it rips it back out of your hand. Give me a save of paralyzation, please. So you got to roll higher than whatever that number is.
Is this non-spell related?
Non-spell, so add your int. Or, I'm sorry, wisdom.
Okay, yeah, I got it. I got a 16.
There.
Total.
So you're able to
plus 3.
You're able to stumble back. You catch your footing just as you can feel this portal where your back is right behind you. And with that, this thing is just going to run full speed. You're going to get a free attack on this thing as it runs past, but it's diving into the portal. So go ahead and make your attack on it, Zephyr. Actually, Seda, you are well as well.
Attacks of opportunity are a thing in this?
No, not really, but it makes sense in this case, so I'm just using it.
Oh, okay. Does that have to be an attack, or could I do like a trip or something? Could I sweep his legs?
You can try to, but it would be contested strength, and this thing is huge at the moment. So maybe. I mean, it's up to you, but you get the sense that it's barreling.
Contested strength for a trip?
Yeah, or you can use dex on your case. It doesn't matter, strength or dex.
Yeah. How hurt does he look? Is he bloodied at this point, or
a little bit?
So yeah, so he's not about to die. All right, yeah. So I'll just try to, as he's running by me, I just try to use his leverage, and turtle up on his so that he like runs. He's trying to run through me, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I duck and like sort of let him like run over my back, and then like stand like that to try to like use his own strength and momentum against him.
Gotcha.
I get an 18.
I got a 24. Yeah, this thing just barrels over top. You see that he does trip up a little bit, and as you sort of turn to see that last image, he's falling face first, but he's going to fall right through into this portal.
Can I try?
You get a free hit on him, though, Seda, so if you want to go ahead and make it.
Just wondering if I should see if he's that lucky twice and try and grab him, or if I should just try and
He's pretty damn.
You should try to grab the thing.
Pretty damn strong though.
Isn't he like 13 feet?
Yeah, about 13 feet or so.
I can't miss him.
You can't grab his toe.
I was trying to see if I could like try and knock him away from. Instead of maybe trying to grab him, can I just try and like rush him with my axe and try and hit him and make him miss the portal? Is that a possibility?
Ooh.
Like if he's gonna fall into the portal, he's like trying to run through a door. I can just like shoulder block him and make him flip off to the side and not go through the portal.
Right.
Move him a little bit off his trajectory.
Yeah.
I'm going to say he has to use Dex for that then, so you can make probably a regular melee attack, and then he would have to make a death save or paralyzation. Yeah, go ahead and make your attack then. See if you hit him first.
Okay. Because if I'm probably not going to kill him if I hit him with the axe.
No, you don't get exemption though.
Well, my attack rolls are pretty good today so far. So this time I had a 17 on the die.
All right, so you'll definitely hit him. Let me make a roll for his paralyzation on him. Needs higher than a 13. You're going to catch him sort of just as he's stumbling forward, tripping over top of Zephyr. You can see he starts to fall forward. As you cross-check him with your axe, you see that part of the like the upper half of his body falls through this portal, and the back end sort of snaps against the part of the wall where there isn't a portal stuff. You hear this massive grunt and this creaking, almost like the sound of breaking bones. He is going to make it through the portal, but you get the sense that you did something major to him.
Shit.
So wait, he made it. He made it through, even though it beat him on the roll.
Yes.
I think he may have broke his back though.
Oh, sweet. Is the portal? Does it close? Or
nope, it is still open for the moment.
Let's get it.
He rolled exactly the number he got, but not above it. So you definitely did it like a huge chunk, and you hear this grunt and the snapping sort of sound when you hit him, Seda, and his back end kind of twists really awkwardly, but just the momentum of this, 13-foot, 500+ pound thing barreling forward, you're not fully able to stop this thing. And Zahn, you continue to hold down Abriel, keeping him in place. What do you do?
He's unconscious, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I say, getting up. Let's get away from here.
I'll yell to you like the chief is that big one is grievously injured right on the other side of that portal.
You know how portals work. If we go through, we might not be able to get back.
It's still open.
And we don't know when it will close.
He's got the key on him.
Well,
it's a feather. I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. It's a feather. He's got it on him.
No, we have to ask questions first. I won't go. I won't go.
I'm right there at the edge of ready to hop through that portal.
This is all connected. We can't just go after him. Where's Vendrick? We have to get to Vendrick. And we have to ask this one a few questions. I always knew he's a little pile of shit. And I actually is Abriel heavier than me, or is he a little bit smaller?
He's sort of, I picture him as more of the Weasley source. He's probably a bit smaller than you are.
I would try to, like, I don't know, make like a bundle of him, take a rope and yeah, like swing him on my back somehow. Probably take some effort.
Well, Tiva's gonna run up and she's gonna take the cube that she has in her pocket and she's gonna bring it out and say, "Will this work on any portal?"
Not on any, but on a portal, for sure. But not this one.
What is that?
I was told it was a key, or that it might be a key.
Yeah, I think we saw it before when she showed it to us.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Sorry.
Sorry. I just. Are we still in like order?
No.
Oh, then I'm in the portal's open.
It's still open, yeah.
I pull out my. I'm going through, and I have.
Well, there you go.
I have. I want that. I want to get that thing off the streets. I'm going to toss whoever's closest to me, probably Sada. Toss the end of a 50-foot rope that I have, tying the rest around my waist, and say, count to 10 and tug. Anybody who wants to go through me can. I saw that he has the key to the portal to. I think it's still open. I think you can get back.
Say that he ties the rope around her waist and grabs the other end of it and just kind of looks at him and just goes and salutes like that.
As a Zahn, you would know that would not work with portals.
Yeah, I'll look up while I'm doing that, and while I'm doing my thing. Is that the first portal you're using? And he's like really irritated, like not himself anymore.
Yeah, it basically looks like a straight teleport.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, but it's still open, right?
For the moment, you can see it starts to fade away. I mean, it's not staying open for long, but it's still open.
Okay. So I just pop through.
Sadie immediately puts her hands up in front of her face and starts going like this.
I just take like one step in, and I'm just gonna see what I can see and appraise the situation.
So you basically just dipping your head in, or are you walking all the way through?
No, I'm gonna jump my whole body through.
All right.
I heard that terrible snap. I'm assuming that this dude's like seriously wounded on the other side.
So as you step through this thing, unless anybody stops you or tries to. No. So as you step through Zephyr, you can feel this weightlessness almost. When you look down, you can see that you're standing on what looks to be a large rock. It's about 5 feet in diameter. In front of you is just this starry, simple blackness, and you can feel the wind sort of buffing against your hair, against your clothing, and it almost feels like you're flying through space, even though you don't see it around you. And in the distance, you can see this pinpoint of light starting to get a little bit brighter, a little bit brighter, a little bit brighter as you seem like you're getting closer and closer to it. The rest of you see him as he steps through this thing, and it's just gone. You can see the portal slowly start to shrink down, then it's gone.
It disappears as soon as I go through it.
Unless anybody hurries faster.
Sada's still looking at her fingers counting.
Pull it back!
So
It's too late. It's too late. Oh, this is terrible.
are we able to see it closing as?
Yeah. I mean,
Don't
you'd have
stick
time
your
if you
finger
want to
in.
go, but
So would I have time to yank on that rope one good hard time before it got closed?
you would see the rope just fall, sort of severed in the portal when he steps through.
Oh, no.
Oh shit.
Sada would pull the rope up and just look up and said, "This one's not my fault." He said, "Wait, count to 10." I was counting. It's not my fault. Just like that.
What are we gonna do? He's gone.
It gets a little bit smaller on the spotter. Last chance. Anybody doing anything else? Are you leaving poor Zephyr on his own?
Vendrick is a learned man. He will know what to do.
Sada's pretty much decided she doesn't like these magic doors anymore at all. Because every time one opens, something sucks. So,
Great, as all of you
Hendrik, he'll know what to do.
hesitate for that moment, you'll see this thing finally close up. You, Zephyr, feel like you're just sort of buffeting through space for something that pinpointed like getting brighter and brighter.
When I first jumped through, I didn't see like the the big chief lizard man.
No, it's just it looks like you're on this rock flying through space. You can see behind you. I mean, if you had time, if you wanted to, you can see the portal getting closer.
When I immediately jump through and I don't see him, if I like flung myself backwards, would that do anything? That would be what my first instinct. When I jump through, I look around, I don't see the guy, I would just fling myself backwards.
You totally could do that for the brief moment. This trip basically lasts about 3 seconds, but if you look behind you, the portal's always right there. It's just getting smaller and smaller, but in front of you, this pinpoint of light's getting bigger and bigger, like you're traveling through a tunnel almost, but the back end of it stays right behind you.
So I can't move?
You could throw yourself backwards through the portal, or even step backwards through the portal while it's there, but you only have that brief opportunity.
Yeah, if he's not immediately like lying right there, I expected him to be like lying in like a field of grass for some reason. I don't know, but if he's not like right there, then I'm winging myself backwards.
Why don't you give me a dexterity roll? So just a 1d20 less than your dexterity mod, whatever it is.
I rolled a 12 plus 1, 13.
Oh, just roll under your dexterity. So whatever your dexterity is. So 12, I'm assuming, is under it or equal to it.
Yeah, my dex is 14.
Okay, so yeah, you're good. So ability modifiers is just a 1d20 under whatever your score is. So you'll fling yourself back, but you get the sense that brief little opportunity you were in there, the same thing would happen for everybody. They would just step. You kind of get the sense that might have been why they were only stepping through in twos, because only 2 people would be able to fit on this little portal stone or whatever this thing is.
It was like a slab of rock.
Yeah.
With like darkness everywhere around.
Yep. And then the pinpoint in the distance getting brighter and brighter. So as you guys are just getting ready to try and figure out what to do, you'll see his body come flying backwards out of this small portal and land on the cobblestones next to you, sort of closing up.
With a bit of style, I just want to add.
With a beautiful bit of style.
Tiva yells, "You're back!"
What did you see?
Not the chief. A dark, starless void with a light ahead and the sensation of hurtling towards that light. I think if I didn't know any better, it would be like as folklore describes death. But I don't think that's what it was.
Yeah, so I have Abriel on my back, and I look to the others, and I say, "Let's get out of here. The hard hits tend to search the back alleys now and then to, yeah, you know why. Let's get to that office." And then we ask that one a few questions. I point back with my thumb to my luggage.
Has he been restrained?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's super restrained and tied to my back.
Has he been relieved of his items?
Well, we pick everything up, I'd say, what's lying on the ground, all the money, everything.
Yeah, that's what I do. And I'm not trying to like stuff it into my belongings and keep it. I'm just like,
yeah.
I gather stuff up.
His pouch and stuff would still be attached to him, but the money and everything that he dropped, I mean, they're credits, but they look like they're for like a couple hundred amount. If you had to guess, it's not actual coinage, but it's like bank statements. Yes.
That would be like redeemable in sigil.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does he have in that pouch? He has like he has those vials.
Yep, 3 of those vials with that liquid in it, and then just some other odds and ends. He has like an accounting booklet and some information, but nothing. He doesn't have any weapons on him. He isn't wearing armor.
I relieve him of those vials of, and again, I'm not. I'm letting everybody know. I'm just like, I'm not trying to keep them. Three vials, and in an accounting book.
Yep.
Gabriel's book of accounting. Okay.
And on the way over the market, back to the office, I will pick up like a piece of wood, an old piece of wood with a nail in it, and some things like that. So it's something similar. There's probably something lying around like that.
Plank of wood with a nail. You got it.
Yes, please.
Nice.
Stop just really quick before we switch over. I think if we're going to be traveling through the city, I think we should just stop really quick in your father's apartment and change our clothes, just look different. Oh
yeah, and I will tell.
Descriptions of us might be out there,
Yeah, and I tell our neighbor of the barn to please take care of my dad in the back alley, and I leave really quick because I don't want to delay things because it's urgent now.
I can also offer to say a few words if you'd like.
We are, our folk isn't like that, but I thank you.
Okay.
All right, so you guys are headed back to Jason's office then, assuming that's where Hendrick's headed.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys get your things changed out a little bit, and you let the neighbor know to take care of things.
How are we conveying this unconscious barrier?
I have him on my back because he's a little bit smaller, so I'm probably pretty loaded now. But yeah.
Can we hail a carriage?
Yeah, I mean, she'd be able to take him. Okay, I mean, as long as you're not trying to run or anything.
Yeah,
it seems like suspicious to be walking through the streets with an unconscious dude, especially because we're kind of wanted right now.
Oh well, I mean, he can be drunk, and I mean, we have to transport him some way, right?
What I'm thinking is a carriage. There's like a cab.
You put him in one of your thingies that you hook up to you when you take people on tours through the city.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
we'll put a blanket over him.
Definitely, yeah. There we go.
I don't feel stupid at all.
This is the opposite of stupid. This is smart.
So as you're sitting there, Vendrick, looking through your books and waiting to see if the others would arrive before you decide what to do, you can hear this creaking of a carriage. Glance out this window. Tiva and Seda fell through. Over in the corner, Thigley's been picking at his cat and playing with this crossbow. You'll see all of them come around the corner. Zahn in the lead. This cart hooked up to him as he's dragging. Looks like a tour cart behind him. Everybody following along down the alleyway towards you.
I need to use the bathroom. I gotta take 5.
Go for it.
I open the door crack to invite them in to show that everything's clear inside.
And I grab Abriel from the back with the blanket over him still, and I drag him in. I don't pay attention if his head bumps against something. I don't care.
As you step in, Zahn, especially carrying this unconscious warrior that you have, in the corner you'll see the eyes light up of this small little goblin, and a big smile on its face, and kind of taps its fingers. It looks between you and this crossbow that it has, and back to your haunches. It salivates a little in the corner.
No, Figley. No, Figley. These are the friends I mentioned earlier. Maybe the one in tow. Maybe we can have a taste of him, but not this one. He is a friend. Meet Zahn Figley. And I point my finger to the little goblin that's nervously pointing the crossbow at you.
I just look to him with a really dark, red face, and I mention, "Yeah, you can certainly have a piece of him. I don't give a shit now."
Who is he? Who is he, son? What is this you bring into this house?
I lift
This house
the
of Figlet.
blanket. I lift the blanket and I show you that it's Abriel, whom we've met in the Durkin Firkin, the other barrier, that shady
I see that
one.
I see that he's, as we assume, not a friend.
Well, he certainly isn't. We've seen him in a back alley with that lizard folk, and he was paying. Was he being paid? He was being paid. Yeah.
He was paying them, yeah.
Oh, he was paying them.
Yep.
He killed my dad.
I'd have a look of, not sadness, but look of disdain come over my face for a moment. That is most unfortunate, son. How are you? Are you okay to continue? There seems to be a lot of foul play going on.
And it's all connected.
It does seem that way, yes. And it brings us here. I waited for you. You're lucky for that. I have discovered our way through this portal.
Which portal?
I look over to the fireplace. It seems our way to Automata lies ahead through there. And I point my finger. Book has informed me that all I needed was a fragment of your hair from your tail, which I already had procured. I waited patiently for you to follow me as I instructed, but as I look back with my newfound friend, my new guide, I look to the Modron. There was no one else following. Seems you had other business to attend to. I hope finding out your father was no longer living satisfies your urge.
I give you a dark stare.
We've all lost people, Zon. I have lost many.
Well, at least we now have someone to ask questions to.
Doesn't make it hurt any less either.
Well, it just so happens that I did just finish preparing a spill for just this occasion. Is there any way we can bring him to, or is he mostly dead?
Oh, certainly. I take his face and I slap it left, right, right.
Yeah, he will quickly come to, sort of sitting up the best he can in his bound and tied form, his eyes staring at you, sort of looks over Thigley in the corner, pointing the crossbow at his haunches, Vendrick and the rest of you. Did you gag him or anything?
No.
What is the meaning of this?
I get into his grill, like really close, and I say, guess what? We have some questions. And I shove my face to the side and his face into Vendrick's direction. And
Okay.
I say, go ahead.
No, you're the one with the questions, but give me a moment. Let's make sure this door is closed so we don't have any company. You two, would you mind guarding the door so we don't have any company? You weren't followed, were you?
I don't think so. I hope not.
Very well. Give me a moment. I rustle through my book one again, one more time, and again I cast some arcane symbols into the air, and with it you see this glazed look come over the other barrier's face for a moment. Go ahead, ask your questions, Zon. I will be able to get the answers, the true answers, even if this one is not forthcoming with the answers you're looking for.
And I hold up.
Be quick about it.
I hold up my piece of wood with the nail, and I say, start speaking now. What the hell is going on? Why did you pay them? What do you have to do with it? Tell me everything now. Otherwise, I will put this nail into that eye. And I point at his eye.
What a tasty looking eye it is, isn't it, Figley?
Oh, it
so
is.
For your sake, Morgan, I did cast ESP, so I'm going to read this guy's thoughts as they manifest, develop in his brain.
Okay.
Also, real quick, I had one she wanted to.
Worried about getting caught, then she's gonna go outside, stealthily sit in the alley and whistle if anyone comes near.
Gotcha.
Just to keep a lookout.
So as you two sort of step in your garden, this door, and looking around, it's pretty much normal on the street for the most part. You're sort of in this side alley, but you can see people passing by on either side. Occasionally people will look down, but they don't really give two cares about what you guys are doing. They figure just a dwarf and a halfling hanging out in the alleyway, apparently. But yeah, nobody bothers, at least not yet anyway. Inside, Thigley's over in the corner. You can see that every now and then he'll get this crossbow, and he sort of waves it around. He stares at your haunches quite a bit, Zahn, but he's a little more interested in this already bound and easier target of Abriel as he's sitting there. And you get this extremely afraid sense as you start to read his mind. Vendrick is like all these thoughts are going through, and you can see images as he's thinking of them and him paying this chieftain creature with the credits, getting these vials. You see this thoughts of what he's going to do with them. And you see that he's dumping these vials on different art pieces and gems and jewelry and all this things that he's going to make a whole lot of money with this and so on. But as he looks at you, Zahn says, "It's not what you think. I didn't touch your father." And you get the sense that is true, Vendrick. He did not have anything to do with her father. He says, I was just buying from the Costa. This isn't what you think."
And what is it? What I think, or what is it in? What is it? I mean, why did they kill my dad, and why did you pay them for that? And I point at one of those vials.
Who's this little gittin? How does he know about what happened to your father?
Who?
Who's this? Who?
What? No, we're talking to Abriel.
We're just interrogating him, and I've cast ESP to read his mind. So I tell you, Zod, that he's telling the truth when he said he had nothing to do with the death of your father.
He says, your father, we may have different terms, but we got along. I didn't have anything against him. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, Zahn.
Doesn't matter. It's your doing what killed him. Your background shady business you're always conducting. So why did you pay them?
For the vials. I mean, points to these small vials. He says, they're like charmed. They'll make me a ton of money. I was going to devote the money to your business, of course. And
you were not. You were not. Sorry.
What are these vials worth?
They're priceless. I gave him 400 gold for the lot of them.
You paid 400 gold for these three?
Yeah, he'll nod.
And what were you planning to sell them for? Everything has a price in the cage.
He says, no, I wasn't going to sell them. I was going to simply use them to help pretty up Zahn's shop and her father's and make it look, or his father's, and make it look nice and beautiful.
Oh, charity.
And yet, you're completely lying on that one, Vendrick. You just get the images of him, putting this on gold and jewelry and artwork and selling it for exorbitant funds.
His goal was obviously to put lipstick on a pig. Have you heard such a phrase? He would take these mediocre items and make them pretty and sell them for a profit. None of the profits going to you and your now deceased fathers on. None of this helps us, unfortunately. He had dealings with these foul creatures.
On which plane is that big one?
Planes? They live off the trees of Yggdrasil. I don't know anything. I was simply buying the vials. They offered the deal, and I took it. I didn't want all this to happen.
Yggdrasil is a big place. Can you be more specific?
Indeed. I have interest in the place myself.
He says, I don't know of the place. I have never been there. They told me that's where they were going.
When were you to meet them again?
So we didn't make arrangements. I bought the vials and they left. So you were there. You saw.
And this was certainly not your last business transaction with them. You can't tell me that. You will probably wanted to meet them again, right?
Vendrick, you get the image as he sort of goes back to thinking about of him. Actually, he was planning to go through this portal with them and you see that he's town. I believe it's called. Let me look up the town name so I get it right. I believe it's.
I'm not disguising the fact that I'm passing this information on to Zahn as I'm taking it from the images of his mind, which might even cause him to have some worry or to lie even less.
So as he goes and thinks about this, like I said, you get the image of him going through this portal, and he was headed to a town he recognizes called Crux, Crux, Crux. It's sort of in the crook of Yggdrasil, and a place where he was hoping to put this beauty elixir onto different pieces and sell it there. Is a strong place to sell artwork and marketplace and that sort of stuff.
This is a mercantile burg in Yggdrasil.
Not necessarily mercantile, but it has people of high caliber who like artwork and that sort of thing. And you'll simply look at prey on that.
And this is where these lizard men live?
Do you ask him that?
Yeah.
He says, no, they just passed through. The portal takes to Yggdrasil. I don't know after that where they go. I simply bought the vials. You have to believe me. I didn't have anything with her father.
The feather.
Just look at
the feather that the lizardmen used to open the portal. What type of feather was that?
Costa feather? He says, I don't know. It was stuck to his head.
I look at Vendrick.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, Vendrick, he's telling the truth. As far as he knows, it is a Costa feather. The thing plucked it from his head and used it. So.
Yeah, pass that information along. I don't know anything about most of this stuff. I'm just passing on the information. None of it matters to me much, or I really have the full grasp of what's going on.
He plucked it from his head? It was like growing out of him?
Yeah. It looks like a headdress, but it was part of his body. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Shouldn't be too hard to get one.
No, he was the only one that had that.
Oh, dang.
And that was a chieftain?
Yes.
So just the chief had the feathers?
Well, now that they don't have a buyer anymore, it shouldn't be a thing here in Sigil anymore. But I'd like to pay them a visit maybe later. Any more questions? I'll look back at Zephyr.
Everyone just shakes his head. Like, Zahn, you have to.
You shut up.
Warrior. Yeah, your father was a good man. I had none of this intentions. I was just making money, like any good.
She said, "Shut up."
And I'll
crack my knuckles.
I'll take one of those, and I reach over and take one of the vials from him.
I have those on me.
Oh, you've already confiscated them?
I have, yeah.
No more questions? I'll look again.
I have no more questions for this scum.
So I'm good to go then, right?
Oh, you are good to go. And I take my dagger from my belt and I just jam it into his eye.
Oh,
Yikes.
I won't give him a save. You'll see that look of horror a little bit is sort of crosses and his hands go up to kind of defend himself, and you can just take him out.
Yeah. I jam it really deep into his brain and I just let him fall.
You hear a squeal of excitement in the corner. Just thinking hops up and just like runs over and hugs the thing.
Oh.
It looked like meat's back on the table tonight. Figly.
Enjoy.
Figly loves Warrior.
Yuck.
Okay, let us get a fireplace started then.
We're outside, remember?
And I go over and I use some flint and steel and get a spark going, burn some of the old papers and pieces of wood of broken furniture. This is our way through. My business is beyond. Whether you accompany me or not, or this is where we say goodbye.
I nod and I walk up to the door, open it, and I look outside and I just wave the halfling and the dwarf and time to go, time to leave this place.
Seda would walk in and see the goblin hugging over the dead body, and knowing how goblins are, she just kind of looks at it and goes like that, like that, and it just says, "Where are we going now?"
And Tiva would say, "Oh my, that is just disgusting."
You see this one? I point to
It's delicious with a bit of plum sauce.
We're taking this one home, dwarf. And I point to the Modron. Can you assist him? Push him along a little.
Oh, you got one of them to follow you.
He's right over there.
You guys sort of look over. Definitely see this Modron. It hasn't moved, hasn't really done anything. It just watches, taking in all of this.
What exactly?
Have you been able to communicate with it, Vendrick?
Very little. But it seems to be willing to come along with us. I will ask it more questions on the other side. Surely you will know the lay of the land. For
I imagine it would want to. I imagine it would want to get back. And then I look at it and say, "Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to get back to your plane, your home plane?"
I will sort of snap in your direction, dilates a little bit, but doesn't speak.
I will ask it further questions once I rest.
Can you? I'm gonna try it just a little bit more. I'm gonna say, can you speak and are not able to, or are you choosing not to speak?
It'll watch you. Almost get the sense that it's sort of trying to understand what is going on around as it takes all this in. I will focus on you for a moment, Zephyr.
Expand your eyes for the first one.
But standing. Yes, I speak.
Oh, very well. Then you'll be treated by me anyway as a fellow sentient.
You are not Modron.
No, it's a good observation. I am Gitzerai. You are Modron.
Yes.
So these things look like little clockwork.
They're like basic shapes, like spheres, squares, stuff like that.
The best way I can describe it, you ever seen Mikey from Monsters, Inc.?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly like that.
Michael Bowski.
The pictures I'm looking look like they're made out of metal. So
Yeah, they're definitely metallic. Yeah, they're definitely created by a godlike creature.
So Seda was asked to bring him and kind of prod him along.
That's correct. You seem to be the most able physical body here, even in your squat stature. So yeah, I've asked you to strong arm this mechanical. What shape was he? This guy?
Spherical.
Circular. Yeah. Okay. It's a
So
spherical
Seda
thing.
would walk up to it and just reach down and just grab it, and just be like, it'll just be like, oh, it's like a toy, and just pick it up and just start walking.
I think I'm gonna say, Sada, I think this thing is actually sentient and able to, I think it's actually not a toy.
All the while, I'm talking to Book and trying to figure out the final stages of this ritual to open up this portal to Automata.
Say, Vendrick.
Yes,
we
Book.
We leave, right? We leave. You take me home.
It appears this is the time, Book.
Good.
It's been a long day. I'm tired.
Just a simple fling of the Boreal tail, and the portal will open. You step through, and the other side is the fields of Automata, the glorious beauty of organization. It's like ecstasy to my ears, my pages.
I am interested to see it, Book. Here we go. One moment, guys. We will be, and I reach out the piece of the air, drop it into the flames. I don't know what presents itself.
This bluish flame flares up a little bit and slowly starts to die down. I think you need more hair in the barrier.
Figly, my boy, won't you grab me a little bit of the hair from the horses or the goats or what is it again? That creature's tail. Please.
Barrier.
Yes, give me some of that hair there, will you? The tail hair.
He kind of squeals and a little bit, and he pulls this little tiny, simple little pocket-type blade out and just completely saws off the end of this.
I
Ariel's
look away.
Hurries over. It's excellent tasting. Chew, and he takes a bite of the end of it, chew down the cartilage a little bit before he hands it to you, Vendrick.
Please save me a bite for when I return. And Figley, as we discussed, you will protect your own, yes?
Oh, yes. This is more than Figley can eat within a 10-day.
Do not let others enter. We will be back soon. And when we do, I will find you a new place to live, Figley. You can reside with me, and we can have meats daily.
Drop the hair into the flame. Blows up a little more.
This time the whole thing just sort of goes up in this bluish colored flame. And it looks like it sort of seals over, almost like a gelatin, sort of malleable jello within this whole fireplace thing, filling up the top of it. It moves a little bit, looks sort of watery. It looks, it's a simple walk through, Vendrick. Perhaps your friends can do it. They must hurry, though.
No worries, Book. I will bring chaos to this place of order. It is time.
And with it, I step through.
You guys see Vendrick he steps through, and the whole thing waves a little bit, sort of like water as he's passing through it, and then disappears on the other side.
Well, then it's time. I look at the biters.
Well, will the Modron go on its own accord? I look at it and say, do you need to be carried, or will you come along with us?
I would have discussed with the Modron along this time as well, this time sitting here, what my intention with it would have been, which was for it to show me how to get to here on the get to his place of residence, and if that thing could help me do so.
So say that as you hold this thing, and as you mentioned this as effort, you can see the thing's eyes quickly snaps over to this portal, and its legs start moving like it's trying to walk towards it, even though you're holding the poor thing in the air, Seda. But it's quickly trying to pull away from you and walk and get to this portal in a hurry.
Yeah, see, so it hardly needs help conveying itself about.
He would look over at you and then take it like this and just look at you and just reach up and just set it up on her shoulder and then just start walking toward the portal with it.
This little legs sort of kick and go as it's holding onto your head and trying to move along sort of mindlessly as if it's walking towards this thing. All the while as it passes by you, Zephyr, and maybe as it's sitting on your shoulder, said you can hear it just keep saying home, 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 Primus, home.
She would pat on the leg and say, trust me, I understand. Say, let's go home let's try and get there together.
Seda, you passed through this portal, and everybody else headed through, or anything else?
Yep.
Zan passed through, Tiva, you passed through, and Zephyr, all of you passed through, and it's this cold sensation sort of washes over you as you step into this bluish gel-like substance that's appeared. And there's a sharp pain, almost like you gasp for breath for a moment, and you can't breathe. All around you, it looks like you're just deep underwater, but it's bright bluish color, just perfectly clear. You can see up ahead where Vendrick is as he walks forward and then disappears, and then you see Seda with this Modron. It's all of them slowly up ahead, a little bit in front of each of you. But all the while you're in this surrounded bluish liquid-like things, it's hard to breathe. It sort of pains your chest. But within just a few seconds, you're out of it. And all around you is brightness. Brightness, unless you've been outside of Sigil, or you remember it clearly, perhaps like Seda and Tiva. Once again, you guys are just out in nature, it seems like. The sun bright above you. You can feel this slight chill sort of runs down your spine for a moment. And then it's warm. Clear daylight replaces this foggy interior of what you're normally used to in City of Doors. But you look down, sort of up on a hill, and you're looking down onto the city of Automata, or this planter city. It is made perfectly square. You can't really tell what size it is, but it stretches out a fair distance, completely square on all sides. The northern side, the western side, and the southern side have large gates built onto it. The eastern side of it is just a solid wall all the way across. And you sort of get the sense beyond that is sort of like this thick fog. You get the sense that you're right on the edge of the Outlands. As you look down on Automata, every street is made perfectly square. Every building is perfectly square, all of equal heights. You can see people wearing what look to be reddish-colored uniforms, walking on one side of the street in perfect unison. On the other side of the street, other people walk in the opposite direction in perfectly clear lanes. There's a large arch centered along each of the 3 walls that are outside of the main area. The other side is just completely walled off. And yeah, that's about it. You guys are just looking down at this perfect, organized city for you.
It's all gridded out.
Yes. Yep.
I pull
Shouldn't
book
be-
out
shouldn't be
of
too
the
hard.
satchel.
It's time to take you
So-
home, book.
So, Vendrick, let's and everyone, let's just have a quick word before we proceed.
You are a person of many words, are you not, Zephyr? Please have your words.
Well, I think we should just understand what we're trying to accomplish here.
I know
So
what
we
I
can-
am here to accomplish, and that is to obtain information for my order. Why you are here, I still do not know, but you can come along. That is all the words I have.
Information are you looking for? You don't want to share what information you're looking for?
I'm going to take this book to the person that can tell me what it holds. Treasures for my order. What else happens? We will see as it comes along.
Did you tell us that he belonged to Jason?
The book?
Yeah.
I haven't had really a chance to talk to you guys too much.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I'm asking.
I was about to tell you about the book when the
Like-
hardheads attacked us in the
Oh,
beginning.
okay, yeah.
Right. That's why I was like, hey, let's have a talk. Now we can discuss all that stuff.
I'm taking the book to Heron, a Countess of Automata.
In your back of your head for a second there, as you say that, Vendrick, you can hear the book. Here on a Countess Plethorus of Automata. Plethorus is of importance.
Plethorus, what is the importance of this?
You hear me in this conversation out loud, not really directed back towards you, Zephyr, or Zahn, or any of the primes.
So, well, you see, roughly 42 years ago, 13 days, 12 hours, 37 minutes, 42 seconds, 41 seconds, 40. I understand, you get that drift. It says, a Countess Plethorus of Automata, he began his first creation, and with it, he wrote many numbers into his book, a plethora of numbers. And then, the next day, he made another book, sort of like myself, but not clearly as intelligent. And he wrote many numbers in this book, a plethora of numbers. And then the next day, he created a third book. He recorded many numbers in this book, a plethora of numbers if you can. And so it went. He wrote a plethora of numbers. There's of utmost importance. That is his title, that is his livelihood. And then on the 6th day, he created a book. Many numbers in this book, a plethora of numbers. And the plethora became of utmost importance, even more so than the day before. And on the 7th day, he wrote a book. They had a plethora of numbers. And he just keeps going on and on and on.
Right.
I stare at you while you're listening. Huh?
It seems there's much here that we all must learn and discuss. But right now, Zephyr, there's more questions than there are answers.
Well, I could share what I know and my reasons for being here if anyone's interested. I think we've fought side by side. Some of us we've sort of allied ourselves to each other. I would be happy to call any of you friends at this point, and if any of you wish to assist me in my my endeavors here in Automata, that would be you'd be able to call me an ally.
I don't have a place to go back. I will stay with you.
Tiva and I are really just kind of here by accident. But
And yet you've proven yourselves trustworthy.
well, I was going to say we'd probably be dead if it wasn't for you guys. So the least we could probably do is help. We'll help you if you guys can try and help us get home.
All the while you're talking to them, say to this Modron that you're holding on to or whatever, keeps fighting back, trying to start walking towards Automata.
Oh.
To it. You want to use mine?
Yeah, let's not do that.
Or maybe we should just...
I'm going to talk to it, and it's going to show me where I need to go.
She just kind of holds it out to you like this.
You can put it down now. Thank you so much, Master Dwarf.
I bend down to the Modron, look at him with one moving eye, and I say the name. Here on the Countess Plethorus of Automata. Take me to him.
It looks at you for a brief moment as you talk to it. And then its eyes shift down the hill towards the city. You can see its legs start picking up and it starts to perfect march order down this thing. It says, home. Primus. Home. Home Primus. Primus.
This
Home.
thing's interested in being your guide. But I think we could probably find Hiram Countess Plethorus's establishment or home pretty easily by asking around anyway.
Vendrick, the book says. You must correct your friend. It's Huron, Countess Plethorus of Automata. It's of utmost importance that his name is be spoken in reverence.
I said it right. I said that.
He is the one that resides, or that calls me friend. I do not share the same.
And with that, I start following the autonomous little droid down the hill towards Automata.
This zombie guy's a dick. I say to everyone else.
Modron marches down. It stays up. It walks pretty quickly for such a smaller sized creature, but quickly down this hillside towards the city. Zan, even if you haven't been out and about on the Outlands and stuff, you probably studied enough of it, or in hopes of.
I heard stories.
You know that Automata is notorious for having pages upon pages of permits and such that if you want to enter this town, you have to stop at the main office, which is at the main gates, and fill out permits and get the licensing and the proper orders in form in order to enter, alongside agreeing to all of their rules and regulations and perfection and expectations. You've heard it's quite a good day's worth of work just to get into the city.
So I start explaining while we're walking. So I haven't been here, but be ready to spend maybe a few hours filling out forms and such. And I point at the building where we probably will have to go to. This is important. If we don't comply to everything they want us to do here, then prison. And I look at Tiva.
Is the Modron also going in that general direction?
Yeah, it's headed right for the closest gate, which I guess would be on the southern side, because you guys are on the southern side. But it's headed directly for that door opening or tread.
This feels right at home to me. We get through our creatures of law. I respect the bureaucracy.
I do not.
You won't have a choice here,
Yes.
Vendrick.
Yes,
I
will put on.
Very dark and mysterious.
You wanted a guide, so you better listen.
Unhappy.
I will put on a good face. If only this one will give me one of those vials I requested earlier.
Oh, that would be a terrible idea in this place.
That could be my dad.
It could be.
Those things cause those vials cause absolute chaos, which would be very bad to do right here.
Yes, well, again, we differ, but we shall continue on. I will be a good ally to you, Zahn.
Hey, you know what? Actually, I toss you one. So here you go.
Very well, thank you.
I take it and put it in my satchel.
Enjoy that.
Looks like a simple vial, Vendrick, just like a test tube type size thing. This clear, looks like water inside of it. Stoppered, closed.
Yeah, take it, put it in my satchel.
So as you all come up to this little gate area, the Modron quickly passes through. You can see the two guards on either side. Watch it go through, sort of give it a cursory glance, and then as a lot of you come up, they'll hold out their hands for just a moment. Names and purpose, gentlemen and ladies.
My name is Atheon Vendrick. I'm here to return a piece of property to a resident of this city. My business will be short.
This is understandable. Delivery, you need to see doors number 3, 4, and 9. And you look over to Zahn.
Zahn, Buck of Jill. I'm his guide.
Well then, you need to see rooms 1, 3, 7, and 9. And you? Looks over at Seda.
Seda just kind of sits there for a minute like a deer in the headlights, and then just kind of looks over to Zahn and says, I'm with him.
A guest. You must see rooms, doors 2, 7, 6, and 9. And you, Halfling. Purpose?
I'm also with him, and points over at Zan.
A guest of a guest of a guest. You must see rooms 1, 3, 7, 9, and 14. And you, Gith. What is your purpose? Name?
Zephyr, the Twin Minds. Purpose is investigation.
Investigation of what?
Searching for a known anarchist by the name of Legis Scrog.
You know of Legis Scrog.
I've been tasked with learning more of him, but yes, I know of him.
Investigation. You must stop at the doors of the library, door 17. Legis, doors 12. Are you with them?
Yes.
You must also see doors 1, 3, 7, and 9.
So doors 1, 3, 7, and 9, and then door 17 for the library.
Indeed.
And what did you and what was the other one? You said a door number for Legis Scrog?
I did. You must take notes. We don't have time for such simple things.
Sorry, I can only write so fast. I am taking notes. I actually do have my scroll up. I'm literally taking notes and my characters.
He just stares at you for a moment. Confusion. Now you must also see door 23.
I roll my eyes, looking back to him.
Again, 13 for Legis Scrog.
Does he have an office here?
Wish to seek the office. Door 41.
The office of Legis Scrog?
Oh, no. He does not have an office. But if you wish to ask further questions such as this, it'll be another door. I do not have time for menialities. You can take your questions up with those that deal with such things. Would you wish to talk to somebody of importance?
Sure.
Very well.
If I did, which door would that be?
You would need doors 14, 15, and 16.
I wave both of my hands like, no.
Be sure to acquire the parapa permits and licenses for it. We will end up in prison otherwise. My eyes are on you, Gith.
Looking forward to it.
Step aside unless you guys have any further questions.
No. Move.
Ted is afraid to say anything.
I just laughed to myself once more. The Gith talking, creating more work for himself.
I love bureaucracy. This is like Gith are like born into bureaucracy. This place
like
isn't like this place isn't evil, right? This is like a neutral kind of place, right?
Neutral. Yeah.
That's exactly like what Shrek lore is, like what I come from. It's like a
It is not. It is not like where I'm from. Nor will it be like it is when I leave.
As long as you guys pass through and you seem to have properly understood your requirements and stuff, they really don't pay much attention beyond that. They expect you to do what you're supposed to.
Are these also Moldrin, or are these humans and different types of humanoids?
No, these are all perfectly human, and well, you'll see other humanoids once you get inside, but the guards themselves were human. As you step in, you can see that the left-hand street, you always stay to your left when walking forward so that the buildings are on your left. So out of all this perfect unison, just like traffic anywhere else would be, but they have it. They're very strict about it. You can see other guards. Again, most of them are human, but there are some other ones mixed in here. They're constantly keeping people in line, moving at the same speed, and not causing any hiccups anywhere. Everything's perfect. In the main street that you're on, it stretches off into the distance, but you can see all the numbers on the streets. Odd numbers on your left that you're walking on. All the even numbers are on your right, and it leads all the way down the streets. Vendrick, do you actually stop at any of these that you're supposed to?
Yeah, I'll go through the initial phase to get in here for sure. 3, 4, 9 in that specific order, as it was told to me. All the while, I'm also seeing if there's any type of, is everything just numbers? There's no script or anything descriptive outside of that?
No, there is nothing of description. No street names, no building names. Everything is numbers.
Gotcha. Because I would be looking for any types of shrines and stuff like that, but I'm assuming I'm not seeing anything of the sort.
Nope. Actually, as you continue to look around at some of these buildings and you move through, every building is exactly the same. They're roughly 50 foot by 50 foot square, all double story, all painted gray, all numbered right on the front door. No windows.
Yeah, there's definitely a nervousness about me. Unlike the Zifgrai, I am definitely out of my element, but I go through it. I go 3, 4, 9 as it was suggested I do so.
So as you step into the building number 3, you can see that it just opens up into a simple little room. There's a woman sitting at a desk off to the side, and she'll look up at you and sort of wait for you to decide what you're going to do. The rest of the room is just empty, just chairs and desks.
I was told to come here as a part of my entry into the city proper. What would you have me do?
She looked down. She brings out this booklet. It's about an inch thick and puts it up on the counter. See a little bit of dust kind of flail out around it. Says, you must fill out pages 1 through 14. Understand your situation. Read these guidelines. These are all the rules and regulations of the city. The second chapter will deal with what happens under the breaking of such rules and technicalities. And the third chapter is a test. It should take you roughly 3 hours to take the test. All in all, about 8 hours worth of work.
Very well. Can I sit anywhere?
Indeed.
All right, so I go sit in the corner. I immediately start to try and communicate with Book and ask if there's any way for me to expedite this process, if he would give me the answers so I can skip to the test.
Oh, no, Vendrick, you would be breaking the rules if you do such a thing. I am not a creature.
You are from this place, Book. I respect that. I will do as you say.
And I sit there and I go through the whole process. I'll do the 8 hours of trials and tribulations of policy and procedure reading.
It'll start to go through, and Zephyr, do you follow through on all of your regulations?
Indeed, I do.
I figured you would. And yours
Like,
were just
eagerly.
going through reading books and just doing all these things. Does everybody follow through with what you're supposed to do, or does anybody not? Or
I do, and I watch for the biters to go into their right first room, so they get a good start, and then I go for mine.
What language
I
is it?
suggest we
Is
all-
it just like a common or something that changes depending on the person reading it, or what?
exactly. So as you look at this thing, Vendrick, and you start to read, you can see that it goes back to whatever your original language when you were alive. That you
Right,
recognize.
love it.
And it goes back to whatever's natural to you. Same thing for you, Zephyr. As you sit down to look at this, it all changed to Gith language. So everything manipulates this perfectly to whatever it is you would expect it to be. All in all, the number of doors that you have to go to is equal to 1 hour plus 8. So I will let you guys decide that. So 8 plus whatever number of doors. That's how long it takes you if you wish to actually fill out all of this different stuff.
Okay, so 11 total hours for me. Time doesn't bother me at all, being that I'm in essence immortal. So yeah, I'll go through the process.
And none of it's hard.
So-
It's all really basic question, but they ask the same thing constantly. You have to put your name and race and information on every single page over and over and over, filling out the proper things. And there's just no one sheet covers it all. It's everything is the same thing over and over.
So they only gave me 4 doors that I had to go through, but they said like if you want to learn more about, so they gave me like optional doors if I wanted to.
Yep, correct.
And I would the first one I hit after the first 4 regular registration doors is door 13 for Legis Scrog. Apparently he has his own door.
So as everybody else is working on their books and getting everything filled out, you head over across the street and enter 13. Walk in, you can see the dwarf sitting behind the desk here. It looks up at you. Purpose?
Looking for Legis Scrog.
He's wanted by many. Are you a bounty hunter?
No, not as such. Investigator.
Investigator. Rifle through a few papers. Where have you been sent from?
The Forge and Sigil. Godsman.
So faction. You must fill out the faction awareness sheet and plant that up there. Investigation sheet. Yes. Place that up there. How long do you wish to be in the town?
As it takes me to find some information out on him. I was sent to this room specifically when I mentioned his name. Is this room dedicated to criminals? I take it.
He nods. Indeed. Do you not know this Ligiskrog?
Sorry, say that again.
You don't know Ligiskrog?
No, not personally. No.
Well, then you'll need to fill out this form too to give us information in case you find him. We're always in search of him as well.
Yes, I will. I'd be happy to
This is
report
a
anything
simple
I find.
guarantee that you will return information upon finding it out here to the office. You'll slide that one across.
By the will of Zerthamon.
And he says, you don't have a time frame, so you need a simple permit only lasts for a week. You'll have to refill it out after that, but it's only a 1-week duration. But
That'll be fine.
Slide you that form as well. Basically giving you everything to start filling out paperwork.
Cool. Yeah. I figure I'm adept at it, and as a monk I practice like calligraphy and writing and stuff all the time. So they give me forms, I buzz through them. Yeah.
So all of you, go through your motions, eventually waiting outside for the others. You'll see Vendra come out. And Seda, Tiva, you guys finally emerge from filling out your stuff. Seda, I imagine you probably have quite a hard time.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you, are these automatons people, or are they like regular?
The people in the offices are actual normal people, yeah.
Yeah, because Seda would basically be asking for explanations over and over again constantly asking how to spell things. They might even possibly throw her out before she even gets done and just says here and just come back in a week and we'll stamp it again. So
Nice.
as it stands right now, it's supposed to take me 12 hours.
So yeah, after a good 8 hours, Tiva, you happen to look over and see she's only on page 3 of 400 or something, and really isn't getting anywhere fast.
She walks over. She says, "Let me help you." So Tiva's going to try to help fill out the paperwork, and so I just don't understand the whole purpose of these forms. And she's bickering about them.
As all of you finish your final things and turn in your forms, just your initial entrance forms and stuff like that, the first 8-hour one, the lady behind the desk will give you a small little ticket. You're expected to pay 8 silver pieces upon exiting the city, a simple surcharge for being here in the city, with an additional 2 silver pieces for each additional day after the week that you stay. Whether you do so is up to you guys, but that's what they expect. And, a good chunk of the day, by the time you all are finally done doing the stuff that you need to do and getting your proper paperwork, which is basically just a huge envelope full of papers and permits and licenses and stickers and name tags, you step out and it is evening time. And actually, I was going to wrap it up right about here, Troy, to get you, since I don't want to get too far into Automata, so I'll let you guys kind of decide.
Do I learn any in the library? Do I learn any? Am I able to research Scrog? Do I learn any basic info on
him? Yes. For the basic information you get, he's basically not necessarily a guild leader, but he's fairly high up in what's considered to be a thieves guild, sort of, in the Undercity of Automata. The Undercity has a very chaotic aspect to it, sort of a mirror image of the city itself. And he's sort of one of the higher up peoples that tend to run things and cause issues.
A spat runner, right?
Yeah.
Is that like the title?
It's a slang title, but yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just save the rest for next time.
Say to Tiva, anything for you guys do it last, or anybody else want to jump in and say the final things?
Probably find lodging, I guess, for the night.
As soon as she gets done, she's going to want to find something to eat and some place where she can drink something, not so much for getting drunk, but just the whole idea of filling out forms, period, is really stressful. And so she now wants to find relaxation as quickly as possible.
So all of you are standing there and maybe say to you, ask the nearest person, just trying to find something. You're told to go to the Divine Machine. It's a simple tavern, the only tavern in the city, because they don't allow such ragamuffin people causing issues. Quite orderly, but it is called the Divine Machine. You'll be able to find food, drink, and lodging there, with the proper permits and forms, of course.
Where is the Moldrin that I've taken along with me at this point? Did he get ahead of me? Is he still in?
Yeah, he would have been marching right into the city, because being a Modron, they wouldn't have stopped him for anything.
Right. There's no way that I'm going to be able to get him back. He's gone, mixed in with the crowd at this point.
You see many other Modrons marching about.
Maybe we should have tied him off to something.
Yeah, that wasn't my interest. I don't want to just ask outright. I was going to try and use him to try and get some information pertaining to the religious orders of this place, the order of religion of this place. And that would be my goal as I'm going through these doors and doing these tests and filling up these forms and just walking around towards this tavern or place of lodging. I'm just trying to get a gist of any type of religious groups or anything that's going on, even though it might be difficult.
Most of the people you can tell of the town here are all dressed the same. They just wear simple, like, yellowish colored clothing and slacks and stuff. Anybody else you can tell obviously must not be from here or visiting with other purposes. You do see different people of all different religions and factions openly here in the streets. You really don't see anybody breaking the rules or anything. Occasionally you might see somebody do something, this or that, but all over. Everybody pretty much follows the rule. Whenever something does go awry or odd, Modrons are around them in a hurry, quickly finding them and giving them tickets and dealing with what they need to do.
Is there any landscape thing that stands out as being different, being like a forge or something where these Modrons are manufactured?
There is not. The only thing that would stand out beyond
that wall
would be the wall on the far side. And you can see it still has an archway like you would enter through it, but it's completely bricked off. And there is one larger building, a little bit bigger than all the rest, that stands in front of it. It's the same style, but it's a little bit bigger square. But it's the same exact look anyway.
So no offense to my gift companion, but I care very little about the illegal underpinnings of this place, unless it can bring me closer to finding out more about this Modron god of Primus. So that will be what I'm going to be putting my energies in, or any type of conversations I have. It's just asking some general inquiries about that, where said being exists, what exactly it is, and how the Modrons interact with it on a daily basis. I do have planar knowledge as one of my skill sets. So I might have done some preliminary researches and stuff, but my knowledge, I'm guessing, is pretty limited. But for the most part, I'm fine with taking a bit of respite with these guys and then moving on to contacting Huron in the immediate future.
Did you mention Legiscrad's name out loud around Vendrick, Zephyr?
Yeah, when I was like stating like why I was there for. I don't think he was really listening though, but yeah.
No, he probably wasn't. But as you sort of get ready and all of you are outside and you're headed towards this divine thing, book will chime up in the back of your head. The friend,
my head. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, your friend seeking danger. Legisgrad, he's what you would call a seedy chaos maker here in the city. Him and Huron count as plethoras of automata. They didn't see eye to eye in their dealings. I'd watch your friend if I was you.
I'll do that.
You have to remind him again that we're not friends.
Oh, I will.
Nice.
What? One thing I wanted to do real quick before we exit is I haven't had time to look at this this disc that there was so many things have happened. The disc that the orc that was killed in the first session.
Mm-hmm.
That the kid Accord, like when we I'm trying to remember how it happened. I think the orc pressed it into me.
Yeah, yep. Shoved it into his, told the kid to protect it.
I haven't looked at it yet. I want to just like take a look at it.
It's about the size of the palm of your hand, perfectly round. It's crude because it's made out of stone, but it is around the size of your hand. Probably weighs about a pound. One side is completely smooth and polished, almost to a mirror finish. Even though it's like a grayish color, you can still sort of see your reflection in the polishedness. The other side is really rough cut, and it just has a simple picture of a spear, and then it has the Lady of Pain's face emblazoned on it.
Would this count as like religious iconography?
You could try. You don't get an immediate sense that it is, no, but there's not really any
is this like a holy symbol of the Lady of Pain?
Oh, no.
Good. Because then it'd be like, bye-bye.
No. But it definitely looks like something maybe in her reverence still. It's not like a holy symbol, but it's definitely something in her reverence.
And it has so the rough side has like a
picture of a spear, and then her face, that porcelain visage sort of look she has.
Okay.
All right. Anything else from anybody before we kick this off for this time? No problems, Troy. I'm ending it right here anyway, Sue. So thank you very much, man.
think I'm good.
Yep.